What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you with another one, and this one is the From Theory video. I was thinking of some elaborate name, but I don't think I made one. So I'm thinking, like, what do we call it? This is the From Theory stream. We do theories on this stream. We're going to go over all your theories, everything else. You can call right in. Phil is here. He's backstage. The number to call in is 781-990-8509. If you're overseas, use the issue guy at gmail.com to leave a message, just like our great friend Carla Wade did. And we finally got a chance to hear our voice. So make sure you do that. If you have a super chat, please send it to the Cash App. That's $Tony Teflon 545, because Google, YouTube, they take over 40% of all super chat. So if you want me to get the full money, send it to the Cash App. All that is on the crawl. I want to thank everyone who tunes in every week and comes through and watches us and everything else. We truly appreciate you being here and supporting us and supporting this great show. I want to thank all the guests who have come on the channel from MGM and everything else. Everyone has been cool. This week we have Hannah will be up in the building. That is the actress who plays Julie. She will be with us on Escaping From at 10 p.m. tonight. 10 p.m. On Sunday night, going over the episode with us. So it's going to be great. We also have lined up already. We have Kenny's girl that ain't trying to sleep with him. Chrissy is the character's name, will be in the building rocking with us. And we also have Kenny's mom. We have everyone but Kenny. Everyone who's associated with Kenny we got, but we don't have Kenny. We're working on Kenny. We're working on Kenny. We're working on. We'll see if we get this cat up in here and everything else and all that. But before we go further, let's say what up to some people who are here in the chat and everything else. Monk Monty is in the building rocking with us. The beautiful Carla Way is up in the building rocking with us. Winter is up in here. Fancy Girl 15 is in this piece right now. You move to Luna is always up in here rocking with us. Appreciate you being here with us right now. Who else do we have? We have a bunch of people here, over 100 people in the building. Bodega Buds is up in the building rocking with us right now. Roland is in here right now. Trez Kama is in the building. Crip Walk is up in here. Crypto Colors, I should say. I see Spots, who is the first ever subscriber to Teflon TV, is in the building rocking with us right now. Jay Hall is in the building. Big Daddy is up in this piece right here. Brooklyn, baby. Stand Up is in here right now rocking with us. I didn't go up there right there. Brooklyn, Stand Up is in here right now. Someone said they got a new theory. We're here to hear all your theories and everything. Fantastic says he has a new theory. We're here to hear it. You know, if you want to call it in so we can definitely get it, call it in. Hi, Alice is up in here. What's going on? You know what I mean? Call it in. It'd be great if you could call it in and everything. I would appreciate it. Instead of putting it in the chat where I got to read it, if you could call in a theory, it'd be so much better. Again, Phil is here. He's backstage. All right, now, I'm here to have a good time as always. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna go through this. But I just have to say that a good friend of mine named Chewy, young kid in his 30s, passed away by circumstances of his own. And I'd just like to say, rest in peace to obviously him, his family, condolences to his family, his kids, his brother, his mother, his everyone who's all his family associated. And I know this struggle very well. So I'm just gonna share a little bit about myself real quick with you, so that because I'm always up front with everything. I've dealt with depression and suicidal thoughts for a very long time, because what happened to me in particular was that when I was first rapping and everything else, and was supposed to be this huge rap star in my own mind, you know what I mean, and I was going to the studio and doing everything and making songs, and things didn't work out for whatever reason. Some could say it was my fault. Some could say it was circumstances out of my control. But when you do something like that and you think that this is where you're supposed to be in life and this is who you're supposed to be in life, when things like that don't work out, it's really hard to get over that. I felt like myself that I let people down, people who, self gave money for me to go to the studio, that said, I believe in you. Here's some money. Make sure you go do that. Those people who put that money up for me are my children, who I told them once I make it, I'm going to get them stuff. I'm going to get you this. I'm going to get you that. My kid's mom, who I told her, don't worry, we're putting this money into this, but I'm going to get you this when this is all said and done. Yourself. And it's hard just to live a mundane life and just get a 9 to 5. You feel like a failure. And for myself, what I would do is I'd smoke a lot. I smoked a lot of trees. And I did that to keep people away from me, because I would use that just for an excuse not to get close to anybody. And it really ate at me for a very long time in my life. And there's many times that I was very close to not being here anymore. But for the grace of God, that stuff never happened. And I actually pivoted and accepted the pivot. And that's when I began writing children's books. And that's when I started YouTube. And I became a fairly successful YouTuber and a fairly successful children's book author. So, it's hard for someone to find their pivot. And I just wish that Chewy would have waited a little bit longer, because he would have most likely found his pivot. And so just so you know a little bit about myself and everything else, it's real. And I would say that if anyone does suffer from depression and you need someone, don't suffer on your own. I did for a very long time, but find someone to talk to. Find someone, if you have to cry to someone, find someone to cry to, whatever it takes. You know what I mean? Don't give up on yourself, is what the real words I want to say is. Don't give up on yourself. I almost gave up on myself. I wouldn't be here right now if I did. So things get better and stuff like that. All right. So now we're done. Rest in peace, Chew. And what I'm gonna do is I put he has some music and stuff. I'll put a link in the description when this is over to his music if y'all want to check out his music and everything else. He's a good rapper. He was really good and everything else. All right, let's get right into it and everything else. Phil, where you at, man? What's going on? How long is it taking you to get here? I see. I see him in the back. I'm trying not to go too far into this whole situation and everything else and all that. Cuban melanin, no, it has not turned into that. It's just me being honest about something that happened to me in my life. And if you ain't down with that, son, you can go. Real, you know what I mean? You can get the fuck up out of here, man. Dead ass. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a joke, man. It's not a game and shit like that. All right. The monsters may have gotten Phil. You know what I mean? They may have gotten him. They may have gotten them and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? For real, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? All right. So we had a very interesting episode and everything else. I do have a new cup because I can't be drinking beer anymore. I'm in this training shit right now, and I'm trying to get in shape and all that good stuff, and just for the summer and all that stuff. So I can't drink beer anymore. So now I'm just drinking water and vodka with a little squirt of Mio in it and everything else, and all that. And there is the issues guy. The issues guy is here and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, I got some camera issues, but so we're drinking basically the same thing. I'm drinking water with or soda water mixed with vodka.
Yeah, I may go to that. You know what I mean? So try this out. I got this little Mio thing. I just squirt that in there.
Try some of the polar seltzers or some of those things if you have any of those that you like the flavor of the mix with vodka. It's a good low calorie drink. But yeah, I'm excited to be here to talk about some From, and we got a bunch of voicemails from the last couple of days we can get to, and everyone else can call in as well. 781-990.
Nice. Let me say so. Cuban melanin. If you didn't mean by what you said, I could have taken it wrong. And if I did take it wrong, then I apologize for taking it wrong. It's a little sensitive to me, the subject and stuff like that. So it's possibly I did jump the gun. So if I did do that, then I'm sorry about that. You know what I mean? No disrespect. But this just happened. So it's very fresh to me. I mean, it just happened yesterday. So it's fresh to me and everything else. So anything I see, I could be a little jumpy on that and stuff like that. All right. So Lady Fairchild, Speedo Tony at some time.
Ooh.
I don't. I don't know if we're gonna do that. I'm dragging a lot of wagon down there.
That's a lot of super chat donations. That's when you gotta subscribe to the Tony OnlyFans. In Big Daddy, yes, I'm like Norm. Life is a doggy dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear. That's one of my favorite Norm from Cheers jokes.
All right, Phil. Again, what did you think about this episode? I know a lot of people. It was a controversial one.
Yeah, I mean, I think because people want action and answers in these kind of shows, when you even in recent years, when you watch mystery box kind of shows, and you binge them and you watch the entire series, even people that maybe just watch season one, I think in your mind, or I do this, I can say I do this. Sometimes I yada yada the building block episodes that move the story to the next apex point. And I was saying this on a stream I did on my channel yesterday about random other stuff. I talked a little bit about From, where I was basically saying that I think the next couple of episodes are going to be similar to this one. And I hope people are ready for it. I think this episode, the one that we're coming leading into episode 4, is going to be very much welcome Sarah back to town and how everyone deals with that and whether she should go in the box. And I think it's going to be more geared down. And I think the next episode 5 will probably be set up for whatever this, and this isn't a spoiler, everyone's saying this. Episode 6 is supposed to be the big episode or the next big episode this season. So I think these next couple of episodes are going to be building up stuff in town for episode 6 to just destroy us, Tony. So I think this is the first in line of a couple of episodes like this.
Yeah,
I'm feeling
exactly. I mean, Donna said it. We've heard of all the people who've seen the show already. They have come out and said it's 6. 6 is when it starts. So I think you're gonna, if you're mad about this one, you might get mad about the next one. But you're not going. You can't have these monsters out here just murdering people every day. It gets boring.
Yep.
Phil, you were a fan of The Walking Dead. When did Walking Dead go off the edge? Was it because of that they just couldn't maintain the balance of what of the people and the monsters and the zombies?
Honestly, it's hard to explain specifically, but I think it went too much in that other direction. It lost its edge. It lost its fastball. So I think this show's setting off right from the start that it's a character piece and there it goes. It's a character piece and it's a horror show. I think to your point or to your question, it lost that balance and it tried to be more dramatic and more deep than it actually was and lost that ability to kind of feel like anyone could go at any time. I think From has a different problem. I think From's problem is giving people enough answers to salivate the more questions that are going to be raised and figuring out what that right balance is. And at the end of every season, do we feel rewarded? And I think in let's look to Severance. Let's just compare it to a different show for a second. Severance, that first season, set up a lot of mysteries, kept asking questions. There's more questions leading into season 2. But at the end of that season, how'd you feel, Tony? I felt rewarded. I felt
100%. 100% felt good about it.
And that's what that's what this season of From needs to do, I think. It needs to, at the end, it doesn't matter but what I thought about last week or what I think about. It's at the end of all of this, am I going to feel like I got enough answers to warrant me wanting to ask to get into the more questions? I think this show's been good with that so far. It's just and this isn't about nowadays or anything. It's just people are impatient and people do have that post-traumatic loss disorder. That is a thing that exists. And this isn't about the end of Lost being good or bad. It's just about people that are into mystery box shows. That's a sort of big beacon out there that people are still a little iffy on. Oh, are they just going to keep asking questions or are we going to get answers? And I think we're going to get answers and people, we should be patient.
I think that the questions that people keep asking most likely will happen later on. Like people say, how come this person didn't talk about this? How come this person didn't tell this person about this? How come this? I think you got to give them a chance to do it. If they don't do that by the end of the season, then I think you have 100% room to say that 100%.
Tony, you and I, yep, 100%. You and I have been really on this show high, and we've talked to the actors, and we're lucky to get all that type of stuff. But if they don't answer some questions by the end of the season and they leave it, I think both of us will come out here and be honest that we'd be disappointed. But at this point in episode 3, I'm not going to micromanage that. I will analyze every episode, but I got to see a season like a show like this. I need to see the whole thing before, because these seasons are like movies, right? And I need to see what this second movie is, what the sequel is like,
Mhm.
and if it improves on, because I think season one ended pretty strong, but could have ended even stronger. And I want to see how they end this season.
Yeah, I think that the guys ended strong, and I think that the episode 6, whatever they were saying about it, it's got to be big. It's got to leave people like, yo, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's got to give you that oomph, and if it doesn't give you that oomph, then I can understand what everyone is trying to say and everything.
Absolutely. And Steph Snow, I love micromanaging and overanalyzing. I'll be here next week and complaining about minutia, like where the rope is. That's not my point. It's like it's fun to be nitpicky and pick things apart, but when you're demanding answers in every single episode when it's leading through, you're not going to get that. You're always going to be unsatisfied. It's like try to see this story, try to see, and I'm not perfect with it. I get the same way. I'm complaining whenever I say things like this. I'm talking about myself. I'm curbing my own personality. You have to. I want to wait to see the whole picture when it's finished, and I'll at least judge it by the episode and overanalyze. But also when it comes to answering the questions and those bigger picture things, Tony, I'm going to
Mhm.
wait till the ends of each of the seasons to sort of see what the whole direction of the season was.
Exactly. And that was, I thought it was a good episode. I think they've all been good episodes, but I can understand why people
100%.
would say this because but as I said, they're introducing a whole new cast of people, but also, there's two times in this place. There's daytime and then there's nighttime, right? So one episode might focus on the day, another episode might focus on the night, and there's different things going on within those days and night times and stuff. So it goes on, between those reasons is the reason why I think that we get the episodes the way they do and
Yeah.
everything else. And I think they've done a great job so far and everything else with it and all that. So let me say what up to Mika. I see her in the building rocking with us and everything else. Thank you for everybody for rocking with us. Yeah, we were saying Sarah and stuff like that. But we seen Sarah at the end of the episode. So you can almost predict what's going to happen and everything else. Let's ask this now. We've talked about already about this is going to be the season that Kenny's going to break bad. That Kenny is just going to
Maybe,
snap
yeah.
and he's going to break bad. Do you think that Kenny finds out that Sarah is the reason that his pops is dead this season?
He's got to, right? I mean, this show's done a good job so far at setting up dramatic situations like that and actually paying them off. And I know what I just want to comment on what Luna said. It's beginning to feel like we're analyzing the bones. There's no meat. I mean, I understand your perspective on that, and I understand the people perspective that are hungry and need some eat right now. And I think that's the point. It's I will think back on what you just said, and if at the end of this season I'm still hungry and I feel like I'm analyzing the bones, I will be right with you, Luna, and be honest about it. But right now, I'm just feeling like this is a long serving process. This is like that movie, The Menu, where it's like a 9-course, like a 14-course meal, and I gotta wait till the end for the burger, where it's actually gonna fill me up. So I definitely hear you, and as Tony was saying, I think we both hear people's complaints and concerns with these shows because they're dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous in the sense of investing a lot of your time and energy into it and wanting to feel like it's going to pay off. It's like getting into a relationship.
Yeah, exactly, 100% about it. So you asked you to in the chat. I could have put a poll in there, but I'm not on the page right now. Do you think that Kenny's going to find out about that? So would that be the Breaking Bad moment for Kenny? Because if he did find out, let's go through it. Who knows that she was responsible for that? Does Boyd know she was
Boy,
responsible
yeah,
for that?
Boyd definitely knows.
All right, so Boyd knows she's responsible for that. So if Boyd knows, and then Kenny finds out, does he find out that Boyd knew? And if Boyd doesn't knew, Kenny's got to want her dead, right? There's no way around it. He's gonna want to killed, right?
He's gonna want her killed, and how does that affect his relationship with Boyd?
Yeah, because Boyd's not gonna want to kill her, right? Because she saved Boyd's life.
Yeah, Boyd. No one's gonna, and not to mention the whole Father Cautry situation where where he was trying to protect Sarah and he convinced Boyd that this was the best way to kind of get at them. So it's kind of a messed up situation in that way. That is there a chance that this is an ongoing arc with hiding this information from Kenny? I don't think so. I think this show likes to give things to us like right away. So I do think eventually Kenny finds out, at least by the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's what it would stress. It would stress the relationship between him and Boyd. If he finds out that Sarah's back, I can't see Boyd allowing. That's people saying Sarah's going in the box.
Sarah's
I,
gotta go.
I truly can't see how Boyd could allow Sarah to go into the box with everything, that knowing that how connected she is and that she's actually talking to the place.
Sarah's
And
not going
she's
anywhere.
she's too important to go in the box. And if Kenny says I want her in the box and Boyd says no, I mean we've already seen Kenny get mad at Boyd before because he wanted to go out there and then Boyd had to play the dad role and play catch with him and stuff. I don't think this is going to be a catch situation. I don't think he'll be able to sugarcoat that right there. And maybe could be the Breaking Bad of Kenny. And if it does break Kenny bad, does he go with T? What's that guy's name? AJ.
Randall.
Randall. Does him and Randall? Now he's upset. He's got another.
They form a buddy cop duo to
maybe
try to oppose.
take over. Maybe they try to take over. Who knows? Maybe that's we can run this shit. We don't need Boyd.
I don't know how much it's going to make Kenny break bad. We will have to wait to see that. But I do think Kenny, I think it's going to make him maybe do something irrational and not necessarily think clearly, because he's going to want Sarah dead more than anybody if he finds this out. But maybe the mother is going to calm him down.
So you think that she would, if she found out, she would still be down with Sarah?
It depends, Tony. Like, I mean, if you were brainwashed and mentally tortured by Professor X and murdered my dog, like, would I be able to forgive you? That's not you. I mean, it would take a lot of compartmentalizing and maybe some therapy, but I think ultimately I would have to forgive you or not hate on you. It wasn't your decision. Sarah didn't do this of her own volition. She was brainwashed, or at least highly influenced by some damn manipulative creature, alien monster like things, whatever you want to call them. So how much, it's an interesting question, Tony. And I know people can say Sarah belongs in the box. Fuck Sarah. I can see it in the corner of my eye in the chat right now. But realistically speaking, how much is Sarah completely responsible for what she did? And how much was her just being completely manipulated by the other side? And I don't know. Is she responsible?
If she was, all right, if that's the case, they got to believe her, right? So she could have all these things and these voices could be saying that stuff to her and everything, but they got to believe that she's doing it. Will they actually believe it or go with it?
Will they believe Boyd if he's backing her up?
I mean, you heard when Ellis was questioning Boyd, and he was like, "Oh, you got transported when you went in a tree," and they didn't believe his ass. He's like, when you say it, it sounds crazy.
And this is new symbiote Boyd that has a real short temper. He's not gonna. No, she's fuck you. Sarah's not going anywhere. You can fuck. Like, he's gonna scream about it and make a scene about it. He's not going to. He'll bust her out of the box if they put her in the box. I think the Boyd that we have right now, whether he's turning into a creature or he's just empowered by the worms that are causing his mind to feel a little high, or like superpowered, a little hulky, then I don't think he's letting this happen. If he doesn't want, I think whatever Boyd doesn't want to happen is not happening in that town right now. This is his game.
Yeah. I just don't think anyone is.
Who can battle him other than Donna, really? Like, in that town with control and organization, like, maybe Donna could get what she wanted out of him if she, in the sense of putting Boyd in a position to, with Kenny's help, setting him up in a situation to be like, no, Boyd, we got to stop him. But realistically speaking, there's not many people in that town that could stop Boyd from getting what he wants done. He could push through pretty much anything. And it seems like this new Boyd, I just don't have the patience anymore. Like he was saying about Randall, I don't have the patience anymore.
Yeah, and he's dealing with something else, you know what I mean, inside of his body right now with the blood worms and stuff like that. So, he may not Yeah, but I just can't see him saying, "All right, you want to kill her? Kill her. Put her in the box. Fucking go do it." I just
Joshua.
really can't see him doing that, and I
No,
think
but
that
could you
if
see
he
Kenny
does,
doing that? I'll ask the same question you asked me. If Kenny finds out about the situation, do you see him wanting to put Sarah in the box, or is Kenny
right,
above it?
he has to know it's his father, his dad.
Yeah.
You seen Kenny chopping down trees and shit, man. I'm telling you,
I'm a lumberjack and it's this it's this shirt. You know?
no, he's gonna want her dead, and I think that could. I'm telling you, I'm 100% convinced that Kenny's got to break bad this year. He's just too happy-go-lucky, nice guy. I just think that's it. You know what I mean? And when that girl gave him that little peck last season, his nuts dropped a little bit. So I think that this will be the full drop. Yeah, the full drop.
Full drop.
The full drop to Kenny.
Joshua says Boyd is going to teleport right inside Donna, blow her up. That'll be a twist. Okay, let's get to some of our voicemails. And we got an email. Let's read this quickly from our buddy Carl, who was sent an email to the issuesguy@gmail.com. How's it going, mate? Hope all is groovy. A few things. Massive fan of you and Tony. Don't always catch all your live shows because of the time difference in Britain. We know bullets don't work to knock them, but they do knock them slightly. Do you think, Tony, do you think something bladed would work? Like when the aliens were bothering Ellis and Fatima, a couple of people sneak behind them with a sword and a pitchfork and then back off through a window. Only problem is that I read the creatures are evolving, so possibly it wouldn't work. So do you think, and there's a couple other questions I'll get to in a second, but do you think a sword or an axe or something chopping one of these motherfuckers up could work?
I'm willing to find out. Yeah, I'm willing to find out. You know, it depends how long those claws actually reach. But if they don't reach that far, definitely try pitchfork them. I would definitely pitchfork them right in the chest and see what happens. And if the blades bend, then that would be it. I think it's fire. I think it's fire. That's what this tells me, that you got to burn these motherfuckers. Fire up the butthole is what you need to do. That's
awesome.
how you get rid of them. I think that's it.
Carl also says was going to ask if anyone has tried to escape. I think they've said, at least the people there, that Boyd has gone the furthest.
Yeah, that's the furthest anyone's gone is Boyd.
And I honestly don't think they'll allow anyone to escape. Also, do you think the old picture with Victor as a child was the last normal day in the town before whatever happened? And what was that? Thanks. Looking forward to the show. Do you think that picture was from the normal before the bad town, or is that no? Because it's when Victor got there and the town had already. It was already the same situation.
Yeah, I don't think it was the last thing at all. I've given my theory about that whole guy and everything else, but I'll give it again. I did the video about it already. You can go check the video out and stuff, but I'll say it again right here. I think that guy killed everybody. I think he lost his mind and killed everybody. You know, you have the signs that Ethan said to Jade, that you got to figure out whether there's good symbols or bad symbols, and bad symbols make you do bad things.
Yep.
That guy seen those symbols. Those could be bad symbols. Victor got scared when he seen the puppet. I'm convinced that was that guy's puppet, that he used to entertain Victor with that puppet. And I think that, you know, he killed everybody and made him die. We've seen it already happen with Abby going crazy and stuff. And I think that's why Victor was so shocked when he seen it, because he liked him as a kid and he seen the guy do a terrible thing. And that's why it was so everything else. So I assume that's what happened, that the guy was lost his mind and killed everybody and slaughtered them. We have no proof that those people were killed by the monsters at all. So, I mean, you see Victor come out and he grabs the lunchbox, but they don't show him actually how they died and stuff. I think it's him. I think he murdered everyone, just like Abby was trying.
Phil, did I steal Kenny's lumberjack shirt from Colony House? And that's not why I took it off, but yes, I did. As I did. We're not going to talk about that. That's why Kenny won't come on the show. I stole his lumberjack.
He won't come because we keep saying he ain't getting no ass.
Yeah, he's like, I know those guys.
I know those guys. Kenny ain't getting no ass guys.
Yeah, screw those guys. We're not going on their fucking stupid show. Those guys. This is from area code 305.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Hey, Tony. Hey, Phil. How's everybody doing? It's me, Cody from Key Largo. I was hoping to come on tonight again. Let me know. Also, you know, this is from last season. Did you guys see the last, the one with Kenny chopping the tree, right? They started that on 2 episodes, or maybe it was the same episode, different scene. But they showed Kenny chopping the tree before his dad died, And then they showed Kenny chopping the tree like crazy after his dad died. And I was wondering if anybody ever caught that. For some reason, that bothers me. Maybe it was a mistake or whatnot. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good night. Nice to see you. Have a good show. Bye.
You too. Thank you so much. So the question was, it was they show Kenny. So it was probably a just a continuity error. It's those things are when you see those things in television shows and movies, they happen in the best of them. Whether you're watching The Godfather, Goodfellas, other movies that aren't mafia movies that are good too. But you can't help but sometimes have a shot of a boom mic in there randomly, or like it minimizes your head, kind of auto corrects it, but when you do see it, it's hard to miss it. So I bet it was just sort of a production thing in because I know a lot of the production of season 1 was done around restrictions, so there's probably a time thing, and they just had to shoot something, and they're when they went in to get the extra coverage shots, they couldn't get exactly it to match up. So good eyes, Mika. But I didn't notice that, but I will now. No, I'm kidding.
I'll go back and take a look at it, but I agree with Phil. It was just something that was done. I don't think it was meant to mean anything in it and everything else.
Yep.
I just think it was that's just the way it was.
And Malika, Godfather is, I know it's cliche, but it's my favorite movie. It's the movie I watch when I'm sick. I'll watch The Godfather in 1 and 2, or The Godfather Saga, the TV saga that bridges 1 and 2.
Godfather's not better than Goodfellas.
I don't think it's a better complete movie from beginning to end, but it's my favorite because it's so long. But yeah, I agree. You can't beat Martin Scorsese to me. And I know we've had this conversation. To me, he's money for money my favorite filmmaker. He has more movies I love than any other filmmaker. Like if I just count, like I almost have to think about his bad movies because there's not many. I think it's him and Spielberg's up there too, even though he does a lot of cheesy family movies. But yeah, you don't have to argue with me on. I think Goodfellas is a tighter movie, and that might not even be Scorsese's best movie. So,
and I'm not saying that because my friend was in the movie either. I'm not saying that. That's just what
I mean, you used part of the Godfather logo. I mean, you're not hating on the Godfather. It's just
I'm not hating on the Godfather. The Godfather's the Godfather, and I think
the Godfather is like it has bad lighting at times. It's slow moving.
I think the making of The Godfather was an amazing documentary movie. If you ever see that,
it was a good series too. With
The Offer.
The Offer. I actually enjoyed. I almost wanted to contact you to recap The Offer, but it was
really good. It was really good. If you get a chance to watch that, you can. All
right, someone says bad lighting. I don't mean bad lighting. I mean, if we think about it, dark stylized lighting, it's a darkly lit film, and I know it's a lot of people are gonna think it's my favorite movie. I'm not shitting on The Godfather, but it does. I don't know. His movies. It's a darker movie at times, and like some of those scenes are symbolizing real lighting, like in the room, and to make it feel like it was at the time when electricity wasn't lighting up whole rooms and stuff. Whereas Goodfellas is a very well lit, shot, beautiful movie. Anyways, I'll stop talking about these movies. Let's go.
Hello, Phil, Tony.
Casino and Goodfellas are great too, but The Godfather is exactly.
Forgive any shifting you here. I've got fans on. This is Steve from Missouri. I was noticing earlier when I was watching the show there, because I had to do a couple of rewatches and pauses. I did notice it on the kids down there when they appeared to Tabitha at the bottom of the stairs. There were like needle scars on them. At first I thought it was pockmarks, but I had to stop. Because like the monsters, we do have to fix things and everything, like Tony's been talking about, and we have been showing that with the man in chains. They did do blood transfusion that way. It makes you wonder, because we were talking about the way they look. How do y'all feel about the experiments, including or starting with these two kids? And then branching out to maybe the adults in town or something like that, since we are showing on them those constant round shapes with the little round outline. Because as a person who has to do those shots himself, I do notice that those things, especially, like they don't scar once; they scar from you doing it a lot. Yeah, and anybody who's been in the military knows that then as often as they have to poke you with something, you do eventually have a couple of dark marks on your body from where they were poking at you. All right. All right, guys, I'll hit you back with anything else to think of. But I did see that everything is starting here, and sorry I'm late to the show today. I missed the last one. Sorry about that, guys. Got to keep up. I do have my bell on. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you so much, my friend. Really do appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this in videos and everything else, that I believe that the kids are it's a Camp Auschwitz situation. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Phil, from the Nazis and
Close
stuff,
enough.
right? But it's a situation like that. And at that camp, they were known for experimenting on twins children. And that's where they did all their experiments, mostly on that, but they experimented on of adults too. But I think that it's all an experiment. The whole thing is an experiment. They've been experimented. I think those kids were experimented on. I think that they've captured alien, and they've been experimenting with the aliens' blood, the aliens' technology, and infusing some of these creatures with the alien blood. I think that these creatures could have been normal humans infused with alien blood to get them to turn to the way they did, or some type of Isle of Dr. Moreau type situation with a splicing DNA with different types of things. But that's what I think is definitely going on. It's definitely dealing with aliens. There's no doubt about it.
Tony, I like the Island of Dr. Moreau thing a lot. And Tim read Tim's comment in the that out of all the theories I've heard, Tim, I don't think that's gonna happen. Kenny will bleep Sarah. Kenny's gonna bang Sarah.
Oh, Kenny ain't banging Sarah.
No, that's not happening.
He ain't banging Sarah. He can forget about that. Kenny ain't getting no ass, man. How many times do I have to say it? Kenny ain't getting no ass. You look at the kids, when you deal with the kids, again, when you look at the kid, the one that was in the cage, I've said this and y'all have heard me, I'll say it again. I don't want to sound like I'm running, but that kid was drowned alive. You can see that the skin on that kid is pasty white. That kid's hair is the only one whose hair is soaking wet. That kid nose is broken. That's what they do. That whole tunnel system, they got water pumps underneath that, and they use that to flood everybody out and kill everybody. And I think that kid got caught up in there and everything else, and that's just the way it goes.
It's certainly, and it's definitely a reason why it's wet, slicked back, almost looked like some sort of amphibian-like creature because it's been in the water so long. The way the skin was almost translucent.
Yeah, and if you want to say these people were spliced with stuff, I mean, those teeth look a little piranha-like, on these monsters and stuff. These things could be good.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some experimental thing, or I feel like there's some experimental type stuff going on as well. We've got
Peter Harris. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family.
And
everyone's like, Sarah's up the side. Sarah's good looking chick. I can't say anything bad about
Tony. We don't have the kid, but we have Kick Rock in the live chat right now. Kick Rock.
Kick Rock. Oh my God, Kick Rock.
He's Kid Rock's cooler younger brother. No, I'm kidding. But Kick Rock's his longtime watcher. Just called and left a voicemail. Grown ass man, too nervous to talk. Got me washed in the face. Love the show. Thank you so much, Kick, for calling on in. I think we're gonna play your voicemail right now. We really do appreciate it. I'm kidding about the Kid Rock thing. Area code 501.
Phil, Tony, finally, nice to meet you guys. Catch you guys live. A little nervous. I got a question for you guys. When Elgin was talking about looking at the lake, and then Fatima was there, do you think something's going to happen when Ellis and Fatima, they're going to get married at the lake? Something bad's going to happen? That's my question. Love the show. Thank you, guys.
It's a good theory. I think if they do get married, that seems like the normal place to do it. And it could be a straight red wedding situation.
A lot of people are saying that.
It could be the water rises and people start drowning during the wedding and everything else. I could see them pulling that off. What do you think, Phil?
I agree. And I think a lot of people in the chat are hinting or trying to manifest that into existence too. And I think you and I, right in the recap when that scene was happening, said to each other, yeah, this isn't going to go good. I think this world is, at least for a while, maybe until the end, is going to be like a Paula Abdul song, a few steps forward, a few steps back. It's not going to, every time you think something good is going to happen, this place is going to drag you back. And I think it's going to seem like it's a happy situation with this wedding. And whether it's full red wedding in that way, but I think it's going to just seem similar. I mean, we saw that last season with the porn stash letting Molly in episode. It seemed like it was a happy moment. They were all celebrating Fatima's.
Mhm.
And this season isn't necessarily a mirror for last season, but we've talked about this a couple of times that the second season tries to one up what the first season did, and more people are watching now. So there's going to be another big moment like that. And the wedding would be a great end of the season. I don't think that's the episode 6, but I think maybe that's the end of the season peak that I heard about too. Like I think it's episode 9 is the other one I've heard.
Someone said, "What episode do I believe they're gonna flood the town?" It would be a 9.
9.
Episode 9, they'll flood the town, and then the aftermath of the flood, like they'll start flooding it, and then the aftermath will be in episode 10, and everything else.
Tony,
and people speaking about the mole and everything. Listen, there is definitely a mole in this fucking town. There's one of these people, a suspect, is working for the people that are doing this. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. There has to be. There's no way around it. And we've heard the rumor that the showrunner confirmed that there was a mole. So that's all we need to know. It's just figuring out who the mole is. And I'm doing, my next video will be about the mole and everything else. And I'll tell you exactly who I think it is. But I'll break down everybody, points for and points against in that video of who could be the mole. And at the end, I'll tell you who I think the mole is.
Tony, we also can't keep calling this the red wedding. You're great at naming things. We need you to work on naming what this wet wedding is.
It has to happen first in order for us.
It's true, but it would be. But we got to refer the wet wedding, the drowned nuptials. Like we people in the live chat workshop this with Tony. Figure this out because you guys are better at this than I am. We got to name this thing.
Yeah, when we see it, do you guys think? Thank you for the super chat. Game of tries. Do you guys think Victor does not want to go home? I don't think from when we spoke to Scott, there is no home for him. This is his home. That's what Scott told us in the interview, that he knows nothing but this place. So this is his home, and that's it. So I don't think there is a place for him to want to go to, because this is all he knows.
The smile.
We say Scott's the actor who plays Victor. That's what he said. Shorty Want the Jersey Princess says, I love the show. What show are we talking about here? Their show or our show?
She's talking about From.
She's talking about From. Yeah. Okay. Well, we love it too.
We love you too. She loves us, but I think she's talking about From in this situation. We got Malika who says the drowned nuptials. C. Bell Cal says Westfall's wet tethering wedding. The smile wedding. The mole wedding. Smiley says
wet wedding.
Yeah, wet wedding. That's what I was saying. The wet wedding. That was my silly one.
We have to come up with something better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're the one that needs to name this, not tonight. You don't have to do it
I'm thinking about it. We gotta come up with. We don't know if it's gonna be with the water yet, so we gotta see if that's gonna be the case. You know what I mean? But we gotta see what it is. We'll figure it out though.
The alien wedding. Okay, so let's take a few more or not a few more. We're taking calls all night. This is from our good buddy Jay Hall.
Hey, how you doing, fellas? It's Jay Hall, 612 here for all the smoke. I got a new theory. Okay, and this might be, somebody might already had this theory. Teflon, you be trying to steal my theory, so you might have had this theory. But what I'm saying, what the bus is bringing reflections for the people that's already in the town.
Can you rewind it?
Yeah. You're that was too.
It made me laugh and I didn't hear it.
Let's say the beginning here.
Teflon, you be trying to steal my theory, so you might have had this theory. But what I'm seeing as, what if the bus is bringing reflections of the people that's already in the town? I'll let you run with that. I don't have much proof behind it. I'm still figuring that out, Teflon. I know you be on the facts thing. I'm on that. Okay, but I'm thinking, let's run with that for a second. Everybody on the bus is a reflection of the people in the town. You know what I'm saying? Elgin, Victor, things like that. You know what I'm saying? You can run with how you want to. Appreciate it, fellas. Love the stream.
Just to lead this into Tony for a second, Tony did mention something, and we were talking. I forget when it was or who he had on when we were talking about this. It might have been last week with LMR about the Star Trek transporter thing, and how when you go through a Star Trek transporter, your stuff is all mixed up and you're destroyed and essentially cloned and rebuilt again in a different situation. So could theoretically going on, I don't want you to steal Jay Hall's thunder here, Tony, but going on that, if we do think that when you see the trees, you're somehow going through a transporter, could Jay Hall be onto something here?
I think that Jay Hall is stealing my theories, and I think that's what's really going on here. And it's hard for me. I understand what he's trying to say, but I just don't think it's being worded correctly. I think that, in my opinion, I think that everyone here has already been here, and this is just alternate. They're not the same people. They are who they are, but it's the same people being pulled in from alternate dimensions of all of them. Boyd's already been there. Donna's already been there. That explains why Tabitha's bracelet is already there, because they've all been there and they've all been killed, or they all had to be washed out or whatever, and they keep running it back with them and having to do more experiments and everything else because they're there for some specific reason. That's what I think is going on. And you know what I realized, and I was going to put this in my other video, but I thought people would think I was crazy. But usually that doesn't stop me from doing stuff, because that's usually the case anyway. But I was thinking of it, so I'll say it out loud, and then y'all can tell me what you think. That guy who got crushed in the boulder, does he look like AJ? You know when Jade sees the guy the first time and he looks and the guy's crushed in the boulder and he screams at him with the mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Does that look like AJ? I think it looks like, not, AJ is
Randall.
Randall. It looks like Randall to me. Now, I'm not saying Randall obviously wasn't casted in season 1, so they wouldn't know exactly what he would look like. But I think that the hairstyle is the same. The hair is exactly the same. I don't have a picture of it.
I'd have to go back and look. Too Grown Up for You says, I noticed that myself. So you're not the only one, Tony. So she noticed that as well. Shorty says, you are right. Maybe they will see a monster version of themselves at some point. And also the tethering of the talismans. That's a good alliteration. I like that one. CB Cal, as Tony's looking this up. Let's get a couple of text messages in. Wow. 802 says, the similarities between this show and The Cosmic Puppets by Philip K. Dick are striking. Wondering if either of you have read it. I have not, but I will research it and maybe check out the audiobook between now and next week for fun. So thank you for bringing my attention to that. 802, I would love to check that out. And 606 asks, my question is, they say Victor was alone for a long time. He was young. We know he didn't live on peaches for years. Do you think the boy in white was there the whole time? I think the boy in white is directly responsible for the fact Victor's still alive.
Yeah,
no
100%.
question.
100%. Game tries to the super chats. Do you watch From with the Talisman on your door?
You bet your sweet ass.
They would give me one, goddamn it. I keep asking them for some swag, and they keep turning me down. I just asked them again
Tony,
today.
I do. It's called a mezuzah. It's just my own kind of talisman that's sitting on the wall, and I got some crystals. Though, yeah, I do.
Usually they're outside, and like when I grew up, they're outside. They put them outside of the wall.
Yeah, they put them out. They put them outside the main door. So I guess I do have it outside. It's not inside.
That's when I grew up around my way.
See, you're dropping more knowledge than me. I'm like, oh yeah,
I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah. It's funny you know way more than me. I'm like, I grew up mainly around Italians, so I'm just like, oh no, whatever. Anyways, so let's get to a couple more voicemails here tonight. This is from our good buddy at the voice of 916.
Yes.
Hello, this is the voice at 916. Hello, Phil.
Hi.
Hello, Tony.
Mm.
Tony, I'm sorry for your loss. That's a hard thing
Cheers
to handle.
to Tony's friends.
Yes, I'm so sorry. But I've called because I have heard something recently that the showrunners have said. They have said that the monsters are evolving. My question is, are they evolving toward becoming more human? Is there maybe something within the human organs that they're taking out of bodies that will help them get closer to being human? it seems that their behavior and their appearance do look like they might be evolving toward human. Have you heard this rumor, and what do you think about this? What are your thoughts? That's really strange, huh? That would be something, that the humans or that the monsters are trying to become more human. Anyway, take care. This is the voice at 916. Peace and stay sexy. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Tony, great call and great question. I'm curious of your thoughts. For me, when I heard evolving, I guess my mind auto-corrected it to the idea that as they learn to survive in there, they adapt and evolve to be more dangerous, maybe being able to come out in the daytime. Maybe I'd never thought of it as an idea of that these monsters might want to become human and take from these other, harvest so many so that they can be released from whatever. So I think it's an interesting theory. I tend to go in another direction, but I do appreciate the 916's theory. What are your thoughts, Tony?
I think evolving, it could be a Borg-like situation, right? I mean, you would know more better than that than me. But from what I remember of the Borg, you can only kill them once one way, and then once you kill one that way, they adapt, and then you're not getting away with it. So if someone got shot with a laser beam and you killed that one, the next time you shoot the laser beam or whatever, they're going to have a defense mechanism to prevent them from killing that. So it could be a situation that we've seen that. That's why there are no longer you can kill them with guns. Or maybe they were able to be killed with guns, and now they evolved to that.
See, you love Star Trek too. See,
I didn't say I didn't.
I'm kidding. I'm not the only Star Trek expert here. Stop hiding your love for Trek.
No, I'm not an expert. I just watched a couple.
That was good insight on the Borg, Tony. That was good insight on the Borg. The area code 585.
This is Elaine from Dubrovnik, Croatia.
Oh, wow.
One thing that's been bothering me is back on season 2, at the 28-minute mark, there's a talisman on the door, by the door in the bar that the young couple hide out in until they get visited. Anyway,
until they get
there is a talisman there. Therefore, my thought has always been that the only reason they work is if you believe that they work.
Mm-hmm.
These people would have been unaware of them at that point and had no thought about them. But there is one at the 28-minute mark if you want to check.
100% great call. And what I took from that is to show that it was there and they could have been safe, but they opened the door, to your point, because they didn't know it was there, didn't know it protected them. So they opened the door and then it didn't matter. So I read that scene that way, that they showed it to be like, oh, they could be safe, to make it even more tragedy when they did open that door. Tony, how about yourself?
100%. That's why they showed it, that they were safe in there. They would have made it through the night, but she didn't want to open the door. But they convinced them that, hey, that they were on the bus and that they were stranded. He opened the door. We don't think guy grabbed her and snatched her out. I believe that they invited them in, and once you invite them in, just like Porn Stash invited them in, there was one inside of the door in the colony house when the house was attacked. Once you invite them in, when the little girl got killed, and the first one from the granny, when she invited her in and she opened the window for her, and the granny leapt through that window straight up. But when she was in the house, the talisman didn't matter anymore. So I think that's why they were showing it 100%, that's what it was. When it's all said and done. Tab in her nightgown. I don't know if it's Tab's nightgown, but it could be a maternity dress. She definitely looked like when she was in the caves that she recognized it and stuff. That's what I'm saying. I think that they've all been here before. I think that every one of them, they just keep looping it over, grabbing up somebody else from like a Groundhog's Day type situation, pulling up people from different dimensions, alternate universes, and running it again, and running it again, and running it over and over again and stuff. So that's what I think is going on.
Yeah, I like your Groundhog's Day philosophy. It's starting to make more and more sense the more you break it apart and think about it. I want to say to area code 416 that left us a voicemail, and he did some I got to give him credit. He said Phil, this is Richard from Toronto. I got a comparison from the old lady from the bus and the grandma. People were saying that people thought they were the same, or that they looked more alike. And then he played some audio from episodes and showed some stuff. We couldn't hear it. I didn't know what it was, so I just muted myself and listened to it. It's you can't really hear it, but I do want to say I got your call, and I do appreciate some of that. I'll ask Tony about that in a second about or I'll ask you that after the super chat, Tony. Do you think there's any connection to the hippie girl and the grandma that we saw last season?
Well, it's two different. Obviously, it's two different actors that play it. You can look at the roles. They got two different names that are playing that one part. So I would say no. The noses look completely different from it. I think that people are suspect of this old lady because they keep Jim's asked her a couple of questions, like what's in the bag, what's on this. Like, in all honesty,
a lot of questions.
like who the fuck are you to ask me what the fuck is in my bag, motherfucker? You know what I mean? Well, who are you? I don't know you, motherfucker. Who are you to ask me? Like, if you met someone and someone came to you and said, "What's in your bag?" What the fuck would you say? And especially when you're dealing with old people got no filter, man. They, when you reach a certain age, they ain't gotta answer to
Dude,
you.
I'm getting there. Two more.
What you gonna do to me? Kick my ass? Fuck you. What's in my bag? What's in your bag, motherfucker? Fuck you.
Few more years, Tony. It doesn't matter. But who, like.
Yeah, so that's the way I took it, the way she was saying it and everything. I didn't take it like she was trying to be candid. I just think like this dude came across wrong. He came in there trying to, like he's the police. Like, you the fuck you think you are, bro? You can't run this shit to me.
Someone
and
else.
it could be something in there that she's embarrassed of. What if she has a goddamn dildo up in that bag? You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in that bag. She could have whatever the fuck she have in there. Maybe she don't,
They were going to the casino. They might have been having a crazy weekend at the casino. You never can tell.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on.
I know when I go to the casino. We don't want to talk about that. Crypt Color Light says the old lady Sarah's mom. But let's get to another voicemail.
Well, let me take this super chat right here. It says, "Do you think the monsters can morph into a loved one?" We have not seen that yet, so maybe that's what they mean when they evolve. That they'll be able to do something like that.
I mean, maybe they could do. I always think of that scene in Spaceballs where Lord Helmet turns into the king and get Vespa, come out. Yeah, where you can turn into a loved one, and that might be. I mean, the little girl thought that was her grandmother, but that would be another evolution, Tony, if they could actually turn into people that you know. And I mean, maybe we've already seen the proto version of that, where we did see Boyd see Abby in the spider Ivy or whatever that was. He specifically saw her, and they were able to manifest that image. So it isn't beyond something we've seen in the show already to think that they could evolve to that point.
Yeah, no, not at all. It definitely could get there. We haven't seen anything from it, but 100% it could get to that point. That could be the way that they are evolving.
So the adaptation question is a very good question, and it's interesting to think. It does seem like there's some element of Borgery going on here, in the sense that your overseer, as you've referred to it at several different times, fourth dimensional being. A fourth dimensional being doesn't necessarily have to be anything mystical or anything else. It could just mean, you could in a way say that character in Truman Show, that the overseer that watched everything that Truman did, that character was a fourth dimensional being in the Truman Show universe, because he was above it all, watching everything and being able to affect it. I mentioned Sim City, or when you're playing Civilization or something, you're acting as that feature, and that's another game thing.
You are a fourth dimensional being when you're dealing with situations like that and everything else. It would be exact same thing as that. So it could be a game situation. What up to Juice Box up in the building, rocking with us, and what up to Six Shooter and everything? If you still think they are aliens, and if so, how does it affect the If so, how are the talisman effective? I've seen this question a million times when I first came up with the alien theory, that a lot of people have agreed with, a lot of people have not, a lot of people have come, to try to steal like it's theirs and whatever it is. But when I came with this theory, and people would say, if they're aliens, then how is a rock going to affect the alien? There's no multiple ways I can say this real quick. You know what I mean? So let me go through it real quick a couple of times. Number one, Superman, who's the most famous alien of them all, is affected by a rock. All right. Isn't a Superman? If kryptonite, it takes his powers away, right? So there you go. That's the easiest way for me to say
Batman
it.
kicked his ass with kryptonite several times.
That's right. So that's the easiest way I could say it, right? So it's really that simple. But if you want to go into something else, it may not just be a rock. It could just be mimicked to look like a rock. There could be some type of technology inside of that rock that we just can't see. They won't break those rocks open because there's too many little of them. But if one of them broke open, they could see. It could be microchips inside of there. We don't know what's inside the rocks, especially when I look at the faraway tree and I see the faraway tree is not a tree that can actually project you. It's a teleportation device that is disguised as a tree, so it blends in. So I think from those different ways it can be effective. And again, it could also be a game in the end, and that's just what they're programmed to do.
Right.
Not to go in there with the whole when that's up, that's just the way it goes. It's a part of the game.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Tony, in the sense it could just be a game piece, and it could also not be anything within the talisman that causes the protection. It's could be that they just get an alert that it's in there, and that's the game rules, because obviously they can still walk through them if you open the door. To the caller's point earlier, there was one on the wall in the gas station, and they were able to. Okay, this is an interesting question just popped in my head, Tony. Could there be something to the fact that they didn't kill those two people in the gas station? Like, can they not kill someone when the talisman's close? That's why they dragged them out to do it.
No, I think they could because they killed that little girl in the house when the
Oh, and
talisman was
did
inside the house.
they had a talisman in that room and
In the
stuff?
house, yeah,
The house?
and in the room, but in the house they did. So I don't know about if it's that close. I think they dragged them outside the same reason they
Yeah, to prove a
dragged
point.
outside
Prove a point.
just so they could fuck
Yeah.
with them, just so they could put them on display and everything else, and to let us know as watchers that these aren't zombies, these aren't just crazy flesh eating creatures. Again, I said it from the beginning, and I'll tell you again: there's no proof whatsoever that these monsters have eaten anybody. We have never seen it. They have never shown it or anything. We've seen them kill people, but we've never seen them eat anything. We've seen organs gone, but we've never seen them chow down on it. So we have no proof that that's exactly what they're doing at all. There's nothing that points to that direction right now. And this kill that they did of these two people almost points in further direction that that's the case, that these people right here are just torturing people, they're just being mean and just killing them for their fun and everything else.
Just for sport and enjoying it. This is from area code 210.
Hey, this is Christopher on YouTube. I think my name is Rizlo. Phone number. I'm calling from San Antonio.
Welcome, buddy.
Since you guys mentioned like a dream, and I forgot the one guy, the guy who sold the business.
Jade.
What was it? Computer company, or what was it, like artificial intelligence? Because like, what if, like, because everyone keeps coming in, like driving in, what if there's like an amusement park or something, and people like stop, and then there's an amusement, like a fun house, but it's something like, it's like step in here, and then it's like an adventure, and then that's why people are, maybe it's like a dream or something, where they go in, instead of like a fun house, it's like an artificial intelligence, like simulation, and people get in there, and maybe some of them are like an escape room, like some of them are stuck, and then when you in some of the earlier videos where like the one girl said, like they're trying to, like, you're here, like we're trying to get out, or we need you to escape. Maybe like that's new people coming into the amusement, and then like they're like kind of like trapped, and I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but you can go anywhere with these ideas.
And it's interesting to thank you so much for the call. Great call. And I highly recommend, if you haven't already, check out Tony's video on Jade is responsible for this all. I think it's something like that. It's titled. He gets into this a little bit, and I'm sure he'll explain a little bit of that here, but definitely check out his video where he breaks it down more. And the more time goes on, whether it's aliens or not, or whether something else, the game simulation, I do think it's part of it. I think you got a little Westworld in that call, which I'm not saying it can't go a little Westworld, but do you think this show is going to go a little Westworld, Tony?
It could be. You know what I mean? It could be. It's again, you check out that video, as Sophia said, it's called It says it's all Jade's fault on the thumbnail. You just go in my videos, you'll see it right there. And the video before that, I said that it leads into that video. You can watch them both back to back, and you will explain it better. But yeah, I think that Jay's company is responsible, the one that he sold, for creating the algorithm that led to them being able to get a wormhole going and them being able to get in everything. And I think it's due to the AI. If you look at the company that Jade sold the thing, it's a AI generated company with automated electronics. That's what it is in real life. So I do think that it all could be put together that way, as I said in that video. But I won't go into it all. You go on it. I can't explain it all. That's why I have the video. It's too long. It's a 15-minute video. So for me to go through everything else like that. But yeah, Truman Show sounds
I think
good.
that's where I'm with it. I'm at the Truman
All
Show.
that stuff. It's definitely being ran by people. This is not, these people didn't just stumble upon this place. These people are being brought home through here through a wormhole, and they're gathering them there for running tests on these people for some reason. And it's definitely some type of government situation. I think that they went through a wormhole and they captured aliens, and that's what's going on in the situation.
This is we got a few interesting calls from this area code as I'm reading them, but I'm let's see what this is all about.
Hi, I'm calling. I have a question. What do you think Elgin saw on the lake? Because they left it pretty much to the imagination. But I mean, I think a flood is scary and catastrophic, and a lot of people can die. But like, I will not throw up if I see it happening. It would scare me, but I wouldn't be disgusted by it.
Yep.
So he has to see something more gruesome. Could this be a reference to why they keep mentioning the lake of tears? Does something happen that is so bad in the lake that ends up being the lake of tears? Thank you. Also, you guys know where is Brian's body, and if that is going to have any significance in the next episode? Thank you, Tony and Phil.
Well, thank you so much. I talk about this lake and everything. I never put the Lake of Tears thing into it, but yeah, the Lake of Tears, it sounds right with it. That does sound thing. And yes, if people just drown, that would not make you want to throw up. But if it was you that was drowning and you seen your own death, or if I said these monsters' mouths look like fucking barracudas, they look like piranhas. Maybe these motherfuckers could swim like that, and they're chewing people up inside of the things. And maybe that's the evolving that they're doing. That somehow these monsters could be up in that water and grab you up if you're in that water, and you could see a whole bloodbath of them getting killed up in there and stuff. So it could be a number of different ways, but 100% I do agree that just people drowning shouldn't be enough to make you throw up like that, unless somehow it directly affects you. Something definitely is happening coming out of there. Listen, I'm not saying that this is a Last of Us situation where the bloater's coming through, but you never know. You never know. You never know. It could be something like that.
I mean, it also could be just the action of getting the imagery at all, like just getting a vision how off-putting it was, and they were trying to show how fast it was coming to him, that he just couldn't handle it. That wasn't necessarily what he saw, but he did seem to see something horrifying, and a drowning would be horrifying, but not in the way he was acting. So
when in the picture with Victor, there's body parts all inside of the water. Like there's body parts. It's not just people dead. It's body parts in the water.
Cut up and ripped apart.
It could be these people get massacred at the wedding, and then the flood happens, and then there's blood, parts of the bodies flood. So it could be a situation. The wedding happens. These people come out. Because this is what I'm thinking.
And then the wedding happens, and then it becomes a wet wedding. And
what happened? And I understand that why you would think this, and I think it too. From what we know, these monsters don't come out in the daytime. We don't know if their skin is affected by the sun.
Yeah, they gremlins.
They could be. Maybe the game switches up, and they say, you know what, we're gonna let these monsters come out during the daytime, and they show up at the wedding and start killing people in the day. Now you're not safe day or night because they're out all the time. It could be a situation like that. What if they go out there and they start fucking with these monsters. Like Tabitha says, all right, this is where they sleep. They go inside where they sleep and they start fucking with the monsters. So then the rules to the game change. It's all right. Now you want to do this? We change the rules to the game. Now we only gave you the daytime break. Now we're not gonna.
You
give
don't
you the
respect
daytime.
those talismans anymore.
Yeah, now we're gonna come out there in the daytime. We're gonna come and get you now too. Now you can never leave. It could be a situation like that. When you say evolving, maybe they evolve to the sunlight. Maybe it's something like that. You know what I mean? So it comes to, yeah, and I understand. Yeah, so the Brundle is linked to the movie Fly. When you do that, brundling, which means puking, because the fly puked all the time. And that could be linked to using what this guy did when he thought of the Brundles. He threw up, right? So it could all be fitting right then. So it could be a situation like that that connects the whole situation. But it could be a daytime situation where these monsters come out there and start killing everyone, and then that's when the people overboard say, "All right, let's just flood this shit out and start all over again," and starts trying to wipe the board clean.
You did the Bronx Tale thing. Now you can't leave.
Now you can't leave.
Now you can't leave, you guys. Let's get to, we got a couple messages from 613. Let's get to them. Always great messages from area code 613.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Tony. I have to say something I noticed the other day. The boy in white has to be using the same trick that the monsters use to keep their clothes clean. Because we see them in the cave, they're dirty. When they come out, the clothes is squeaky clean. And he walks throughout the forest in white clothes, yet he's always incredibly clean. So I'm convinced he has to be a force of the bad people. I don't think he's a force of good, but what do you think? Thank you.
So, Tony, does the boy in the white have the same dry cleaners as the monsters?
I think it's Tide. It's Tide. Tide Pods.
Tide Pods really work.
Maybe, we could do a thing for Tide Pods, for him. Or he's bleaching the shit out of those pants and everything else. Yeah. It's hard to say exactly why they do that or anything else like that. Again, when we did see him inside with Boyd and everything, he was wet at that time. So it did seem like the physical rain was affecting him. So it doesn't seem like he's a ghost. He's physically there. But I think that he was one of the kids that we see Tabitha seeing that was experimented on, but he escaped because somehow they gave him the ability of the faraway tree. They could be trying to make super soldiers, kid soldiers, kid assassins, things like that.
Yeah, it could be a Stranger Things situation, and he's the 11.
If you get a kid that could teleport in something up, you know what I mean? And that it's good.
Yeah, they messed up the kids with the Tide Pods. They did.
It could be a situation like that. Where we could get this guy to be an assassin. Let's take him out. He could teleport in, kill somebody, and then get the hell out of there. It could be a situation like that and everything else.
Yep. And let's one more message from 613. Let's get into this one.
Hey, Tony. Hi, Phil. It's Jessie again. And I've been doing some research, and I have to say, the two children that Tabitha see look like they could be victims of a fire. And I remember watching your previous videos about Victor's drawing that you discussed. Victor had a picture of a house on fire. Yeah. And their clothes, when you look it up online, look identical to children's clothes that could be burned or that were in a fire. And also, if you look back at Jay's vision in season 1, you can see that the soldier that's following him has his face burned.
Yeah, like half.
So there's something going on with fire. Let me know if you think that the monsters are the ones setting the fire and hurting people, or a fire set, and that's how they found out that the monsters can be killed by fire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this goes into what you were saying earlier, Tony, about thinking that fire might be what kills the dragon here, like kills the monsters here.
Yeah, I think it's the fire that kills them. I think that's how you get them. I think the fire could be maybe you lure the monsters inside of the house and you jump out the window and barricade the doors and set the whole place on fire and kill them all.
Yeah,
and burn them all down. You leave them in the house, let them all come in the house, and jump out the top window, and then they get in
and scream Dracarys while you do it. Dracarys, motherfucker!
That's it, Dracarys. Burn them all!
Burn them all.
Crazy
So
bird.
that's what the Jenga's called again. Liz said it, but I keep forgetting it. I'm gonna call them Jengas, but I know it.
Jenga boy.
I'm gonna call the Jenga blocks. Yeah, Tony, what the hell's with all the Jenga stuff? We didn't talk too much about that with Ethan in the matchup with the Jenga. What's up with Jenga?
You know, it's supposed to lead you somewhere. It's supposed to lead you home. It's supposed to mark things like if you had food caches or things like that, that you put those things down like that. Noonchuckers, I guess they call it.
Isn't that what Michelangelo uses? The nunchucks?
That's what it was.
Sorry, that's bad.
I like
sorry.
nunchuckers. I think everyone at some point in your life, if you're a male, you have to try nunchucks.
Oh, I hit myself in the goddamn head, Tony.
You have to do it. Fucking do it. You know, Phil, when I was young, there was these fucking things called kabangers. And these were the most devastating to us. They were basically, it was like a thing with two solid like fucking balls that were just crazy balls. Like they were pause.
I know, Derek. I know.
But they were like, but they were two solid like ceramic balls, and they had a thing on it, and you go like this, and they bang, cock, 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 cock. And when you got good, you can go up and down.
Oh yeah, okay, I know those things. I know what you're talking about.
Let me tell you something about how many people have fucking had to have brain surgery because of those fucking kabangers. Those were the worst things in the world to ever be invented.
The dentist in town made a living on replacing teeth.
It was so stupid. You know what I mean? But everybody had those motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And that's what it is and stuff. So teleporting super soldiers assassin kits may be made by aliens.
It could work.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you're right.
Shorty says, throw a grenade in the cave. And I don't mean I don't mean an ugly girl from the Jersey Shore. Yeah, exactly. You throw in a grenade, like a couple grenades, and
you could do that. I mean, that happened with that
UFC
movie
4
Dragon Slayer. That the wizard did an avalanche to block the hole from the king. That blocked the hole. And then the dragon went nuts. He came out, and then after that, he went nuts and killed the whole town. So you could try to block them in there and keep them in there. But it could be a situation that they do something like that. Again, whatever happens, I think the level, when you see evolving, the level is going to go up, and these motherfuckers are going to come outside in the daytime. And when they do come outside in the daytime, then that ends all this goddamn vampire shit. So because I think they have to start chipping away at what these people are. What they actually are, and I think they're going to start doing that. So they know what the theories that fans had, you know what I mean, and everything. I just seen the video of Kenny and all the cast, and they saying, "Oh, keep making those theory videos. I watch them all." So they watch and they know what's going on, and I think they look at them and say, "All right, this is not what it is. Let's give them something else and everything else, and put that out there and all that good stuff."
They're very, very much out there watching in some ways. I think, I do remember the bop it. Bop it, pop it, do it.
Bop it on the left, bop it on the right, bop it on there, and bop it, click it, turn it, bop it. Bop it. It was like click it, turn it,
bop it. Yeah.
Oh, that was sexual in nature. These goddamn results. There's no doubt about it. That is dope and nasty. They had us doing stuff, playing with stuff that they knew was sexual deviance. And there's no doubt about it. Oh, it was bop it, twist it, crank it. It was like you had
jerk it, slap it.
Might as well say jerk it. That's what they really wanted to say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay.
Now, listen, you were raised by parents that were in the 70s.
Yeah, taking lewds and going to discos. Okay.
What's going on?
This is a longer message, so definitely stop me, Tony. This is from area code 424.
Hello, guys. This is Roy Jones. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Whoa, is Roy Jones finally
Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah, is he finally calling in to collect a debt from you flirting with his girlfriend? No.
What, for taking his girl from him? Is that what?
Here we go. Area code 424. Sorry, Roy Jones.
Hope you guys doing well. I had seen something, this really crazy coincidence with Jay that's been on my mind. I wanted to share it with you guys and tie it into
caller, I'll try to read your call, but it sounds like there's someone like strumming electric guitar in the
I thought
background.
he was like had a gong. It was like, dong.
Yeah, it's like he's just like hanging on a singular note. We'll play a little bit. We'll play your first part of this question, but I get the electric guitar sound is harsh here. Here we go.
Teflon's video he did on the different dates that they revealed last season, and in particular the 1864 date of the I think it's a chondrite. I cannot say the word right, but it's a chondrite meteorite that landed in France
Yes.
in 1864. Now here's the crazy coincidence. So one day I'm looking at all the little things in Boyd's office, and I seen a yellow, like a pin board, and it had some coordinates on it. I couldn't see all of the coordinates, but I was able to get some of the coordinates.
Oh, wow.
And when I looked up the coordinates, it is a space between France and Iceland, which Jay so happened to mention that he lived with his aunt in France for some years.
Okay, we get the.
I think he's in his job and he's in the bathroom while on break, and he's talking to put this message out, probably Roy, and everything else. Maybe that's what's going on there and everything else.
Yeah, but great call. Like lots of good.
It is. I appreciate it, Roy. I'm sorry that I had to do that to you and everything else, but you came on to me first, bro. Not nice.
The electric guitar was rocking there, though. This is area code 868. Wait, it says why? Sorry, wait, well, I gotta listen to that one in a second. This is area code 305 again.
Hey guys, it's Mika. Hey, listen, you just said something that made me think of something, of the talisman. You know, Jim's house had a talisman in it, and just because it crumbled, it was still there. So how come it didn't protect them there? Because it, you know, I mean, even though the house collapsed, the talisman was still there, protecting it underneath the rubble, right? Or what do you guys think?
Tony, just to go down
that. By the way.
Oh, just to go down that road.
You guys are so cute.
Thank you so much.
Put
all that out there, Phil. That's just stuff to play. Don't get
let me play that on repeat. Yeah. Oh, I got so distracted. But could that have been why the monster didn't get to Jim, because wherever he was trapped had the talisman up to protect him?
I think Jim had plot armor. I just think it was plot.
Yeah,
armor.
Me too, Tony. I'm reaching.
I wish I could say that that's the case, but they just couldn't. They just didn't want to kill him. So they just had him kill the other guy and stuff. And I think that the house is being protected from the monsters, but not from the four-dimensional beings who can just crush anything and blow anything up and cover up the holes. And that's it. I think that's why they did it.
And our last new message for tonight, but we still have a few messages from before. We got a few texts to get to. But so if anyone wants to call in, lines are open, 781-990-8509. I got one message I need to listen to before, but this is from our good friend at 613 again.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Phil. This is Jessie again. I go so many times. I have so many questions, and you guys are a great channel, and you guys are actually the only channel that's really going above and beyond to like answering fans and discussing with us, and you guys have great insight. And I wanted to ask you, if you look closely at Jade's vision that he has in the cellar on episode 3 in the first season, the person under the rock, you can tell that he has blood coming out of his eyes and from his mouth. And like the video you had done also, if you look at Victor's drawing, there's 2 drawings of things that look like monsters. They definitely have teeth and they're closer to a monster than a human, and they have blood coming out of their mouth and coming out of their eyes. And if you think about it, that person under the rock, he screams at Jade in that vision like a monster will screech before the talisman came. So does that mean that somehow you can kill the monsters and they will bleed from their eyes and from their mouth, and they have been killed before? Thank you.
I don't know if it means that the monsters have been killed before, and when they do, they bleed from their eyes and their mouth. There are pictures in there that Victor does have blood coming out of the eyes of the monsters and blood on the mouth. I think it's that it's the AJ kid. I think that's his fate. I think he's gonna go through a faraway tree and wind up in a boulder like that. I think Jade's seen him. I think I think the best way to see is if Jade ever sees this guy that she says, "Oh my God, I recognize you." Again, you gotta understand that this actor wasn't cast in season 1, so it's not going to be exact 1-to-1 of the guy, but they could have had that in mind, and that's why they cast this guy, because he had the look. And they cut it. The haircut is exactly the same. It could be that this is how he eventually goes out, Randall. That it's him that's getting crushed by there.
It's certainly
And
a possibility, and I it's a good point about the hairstyle and knowing that they wanted to cast somebody in a previous season. Other shows do that. Better Call Saul did that. I mean, granted, they couldn't keep the same actor, but a big actor in the last part of the series was one episode, and then they had to have him be something else because they couldn't keep the same actor from the season to a season, so they could have cast someone that's similar looking. That is a possibility. Tony, I was looking at area code 868's call, and I just was like looking out of the corner of my eye because I can see the written preview of it, and I saw a lot of interesting stuff, and I'm like who is this? But it's our good buddy KP. Here we go. Let's get a couple messages from KP.
Yes.
Yo, what going on? Tony, listen, you have me watching this insane people shit. And it's fucking stupid. But I'm kind of addicted. It reminds me a lot of Cabin in the Woods, that 2009 movie with Liam Hemsworth. Pretty good. I think you're right, it's some kind of government thing. Or it may be like a government thing mixed with like an evil thing, like fucking Cabin in the Woods. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I can already tell that this show is going to end like shit. It's going to end in a fucking stupid way.
KP, have hope.
Who the hell are those children trapped in the little jail thing?
Have hope.
And Julia, her Colombian accent pissed me off. Like, how is this? Like, she's very prominent Colombian accent. Why is she playing a white woman from America? It's weird. It's fucking stupid.
And we got one more message from KP.
Oh, and another thing. It's very interesting. The boy has these things under his skin. Makes me think maybe he took Valerian over to Valeria, got attacked by something, came back, and now he has blood under his skin. It's really weird. But very interesting to see how the show ends. Do you think it ends well?
So there's the question, Tony. We've talked about this a lot before. I've mentioned this before. Does it end well? I know that Harold Perrineau, the star of the show, likes the ending because he wouldn't sign up unless he liked the ending. So I'm going to trust him because he's at the point in his career where he doesn't have to work. He's made enough money. He only can work because he wants to do a project. And he's part of Lost, and he deals with that. He goes to parties. He has people that, I like the ending of Lost. Not everyone does. And they all get in his face and go, what the fuck with Lost at the ending? And what happened to your character? This and that. And I heard him say this in an interview. He goes, when they brought me this show, I go, that sounds Lost-ish. How are you ending it? And I was satisfied with what they said. So I'm going to trust Harold on this one and hope that they have a plan and that we end someplace satisfying, Tony.
There's not been many shows that people all together like the ending. I mean, again, we've talked about it before.
Breaking
6
Bad
Feet Under is the greatest ending of all time of any television show ever made. It was perfect. Breaking Bad was good, but there are people who criticize.
Yep, people say
how did that gun hit everybody up in there? How are they able?
Science, bitch.
Yeah, there's always gonna be some people who are not happy about an ending. It just has to be the Sopranos ending. To me, was great, but people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like it, right? So it's preference, it's opinion, it's how you're going to feel about it in the end. Harold said he was happy about it. The thing that I liked what Harold's saying is that they have an ending in mind. They're not making this up episode from episode. And that is what I heard from that they thought by people who watched Lost, that they felt like they were making it up episode by episode.
Oh, they
didn't
were.
have this thing fully
They
mapped
were,
out.
Tony.
You know, so it seems like they do have this mapped out, and that gives me hope that it's going good. Now, again, in Dexter New Blood, if you watch this, the guy comes on and said this is the greatest episode I ever wrote, the ending and everything else. I thought the episode, I thought it was terrible. I thought it was worse than the first ending. That they ended
Dexter has the inherent amazing ability and skill to have ended. Has two of the worst endings of all time in both shows. Here, this is from area code 305 from a couple days ago.
Good evening, the Don Tony Teflon. This is Mika Lee from Key Largo. I'm thinking they're gonna find Sarah chained up. Maybe she did it herself, so people would feel pity on her for, you know, because she can't just walk back into town. And
Well, we know what happens with Sarah at this point because I think it was before the episode. But let's get into this again. We talked a little bit about this early. Is anyone from town going to have sympathy for Sarah, Tony?
No, not no one who's lived there, unless she was doing something with him. There would be no other reason to have sympathy for her, especially if they find out what happened to her. I mean, you're gonna have the Matthews gonna say that she tried to kill my son. That's number one strike against her. They're gonna say she did kill her brother, even though it was an accident. And if they find out that she had anything to do with Kenny and that nurse's death, then that's 3 strikes you're out for Sarah.
Yeah.
There's no way the town's gonna have any sympathy for her.
Oh, whoa. We got a big text message that says, or a big message email. Love the show. This is from Darren. I have a crackpot theory that I like to pull apart. My theory is that the town is being controlled by the demon Moloch. If you look at the talismans, the design is a dead ringer for Moloch. I've included a picture. I'll show it to you, Tony. I can't show it on the computer it's on, but Moloch particularly likes child sacrifices as they're innocent. Stop me at any time, Tony. There is a major evidence for this. The first victim in the show is targeted is Megan, who is a kid. Sarah is told to kill the boy, and they can all go home. Kill the boy, Jon Snow. I believe this is a false promise, but Moloch does want the thrill and enjoyment of Ethan being killed. Moloch.
All right, so let's stop it right there. So no, I don't believe Moloch.
Moloch.
There's no demon. This is the whole thing. It's not a demon. This is not witchcraft. This is not charm.
Demon. I'm a fucking
demon.
demon.
Scientific horror, sci-fi horror. It's nothing to do with Moloch.
I'm a fucking
demon. Nothing to do with anything like that at all. This is not that. It's not kill the kids being killed. The first kid was being killed. They showed that to show you how ruthless these creatures are. That they'll kill a child. That was the reason why they showed them. That they're willing to kill a child, an innocent little girl, and gut her and kill her just like that. It was a shock value to let you know what the hell you're getting into right now. Because if you've seen the monster just kill the mom or the dad, then it would have just been like, all right, we've seen this before. But the fact that right there that we've seen them kill a kid, it just sets you up like, all right, these motherfuckers ain't playing. And that they actually showed a kid dead on screen and everything else. So that's what I think it was that. The kill the boy thing with Sarah, I think, was a misinterpretation that it really meant kill the boy in white, not kill Ethan, but she got that wrong and everything else. So I think that's what they're at. The boy in white is what wants to be killed and everything else. And they need that kid killed. And I think that's what's going on because he's escaped their experiment. And that's right. I don't see it's no Moloch.
Tony,
or Mephisto, or anyone dealing with anything like that.
Well, we do have pictures, and thank you, Darren, for the message. And let's get to 323 says they got cut off, and it's the first time they called, but I'm going to play your voice anyway. If you want to call in again, 323, call right back. But this is a first-time caller, 323, Victor in the live chat.
Tony and Phil, what up? This is Vic, man. Victor from Los Angeles. Just wanted to say thank you guys for the good work you do, man. I love this show from the beginning. And
then he gets cut off there, but that was the good part of the message. It was compliments for us. We appreciate it.
I take it.
And we get another message from the voice at 916.
Hello, this is the voice at 916 calling back again. I was just thinking about the ballerina music box. Did you notice that when the ballerina music box came on, when Boyd was in the cave with Martin, as soon as it started the tune, Martin's demeanor changed right away, and that's when he quickly scratched Boyd and exchanged the blood. I don't think it was because the monsters were coming at that time or whoever was coming at that time. I think that that ballerina music box is like a trigger, like a hypnotic trigger to cause people to respond in a certain way. So I predict next time we see that box, and I think we've seen it in a trailer, when Boyd will see the box as a shadow, I think that will trigger him to respond in a certain way, especially since he has the nanobugs in his arm. What do you think about that idea? This show has me thinking all kind of crazy theories and everything. So how about that one? Anyway, stay sexy.
Great message as always,
I
Tony.
don't want to disagree with her because sounds too good.
It's easier just to let it be out there. As,
It is, I don't want to disagree with her, but I gotta be real to the people here. I don't know. I truly think that it was what it said it was gonna be, that they came back once that music box ended.
Yeah, it was a time clock sort of situation.
Yeah, and that was what it was. And once that happened, they were like, all right, it's all over. I have to do this. And then they snapped his neck, just like they brought the house down. They killed him and snapped his neck and killed him, and that was it.
One thing I heard that was interesting, I don't know if I agree with it, but I don't know if we talked about it, was the idea that when the music box went off, the coming back was the worms coming back. That the worms were awoken in him and they were on a clock, that they torture him every once in a while. And that when the music went off, that's when you see the worms for the first time, where he sees the worms in Martin's arm. But I don't necessarily agree with that, but I have heard that theory batted around.
I think we have to go with Martin on this one. Again, when we interviewed Molly on here, you know what I mean? Jasmine Monster. She specifically said that when it came down to it, when we thought that she could have been gassing or telling the truth in the one scene, that she thought that she was just doing anything she could do to get inside of the house. That saying everything that she said was just a lie, just to get him to open that window.
Yep.
So when they look at it like that and we taking it for its face value, we are the ones who go, well, maybe she was telling the truth. I think we take this at face value, that he said, listen, because as soon as he playing, that they're going to come back when that, and then as soon as it stopped, he said, we're out of time, which meant they were back. I got to do this to you right now. I have no choice. Because he was willing to go with Boyd. He was going to go. He was like, I don't think I can make it. And Boyd was like, well, I'll carry you. And then he's like, oh, he's going to go. And then once that music box stopped, he said, well, we're out of time. That's it.
I have to ask you a question. If the worms are a bad thing, why did Martin give them to Boyd? Why didn't he just die with them? Like, was he trying to does that, because Boyd wouldn't kill him, the only way he could die would be to transfer the worms? Were the worms the only thing?
I don't think the worms keep him alive. It's something to do. The worms are, well, it depends what you're thinking. Was Martin good and he gave Boyd a gift, or did he give Boyd a curse? It really comes down to that. If it's a gift, then somehow it's going to affect something that's going to help Boyd. When we seen him out there walking around, it did seem like the monsters did kind of ignore him.
Yep.
When he was out there, so maybe that they're helpful for that reason. Maybe somehow it's their blood and they don't see him or something like that. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else going on there. Maybe it's bad. We got it. There's no way to know it.
Valerian
and everything else.
Valerian says Martin didn't give the worms. That wasn't Martin anymore. Come on, guys, pay attention.
It wasn't Martin anymore. What does that mean?
Maybe, okay, just to go devil's advocate down this, maybe Valerian is saying that.
And then you put cat, then you're going to put like exclamation points. And you say, come on, guys, pay attention.
Maybe what Valerian is saying.
What's he saying? What's he saying, right?
That maybe, again, I don't know.
I got nothing but, I'm saying this in a respectful way and everything. But when you put the exclamation point, you say, come on, guys, pay attention. Then you're trying to be a little disrespectful here. So what do you mean? Let's
maybe
go
when the music box ended, it was starting to get night. Martin was turned into one of them, and in that,
obviously,
maybe I don't know if that's what Valerian's saying.
Well, but he's shackled to the. Let's go right here. He says it again. Right, so let's put it up here again for him, because he wants to be on the screen. Let's do it for him. All right. All right. He says the Teflon specifically, right? The music stopped and Martin wasn't the same anymore. What do you mean wasn't the same? He was exactly the same. He was the same exactly. I wish I could play the clip for you right now. You know what I mean? I really wish I could play it. But he says it right there. The music stops and he says, we're out of time. And that's when, in desperation at that time, he touched Boyd and said, my blood is now your blood. That's what happened. He didn't attack Boyd to do anything to Boyd until after that. He felt like, I got to cut this man with his long ass dirty fingernails, and gave him his blood and transferred his blood over to him. After that, Martin's neck was snapped by the fourth dimensional being, and he was doing everything else. So that's what I'm saying. Everything else. I mean, when you say, you know what I mean. So, you know, when you say pay attention, everything can be taken different ways. I understand that. You know what I'm saying. When you deal with text messages, it can be everything can be taken and everything else, right? Wrong and stuff like that. But that's what I'm seeing. I don't see him changing his demeanor or anything else like that, only out of desperation, because he knew the guy was coming back and that was his ass. It was over for probably letting Boyd up or something like that. That's the way it see. That's the way I took it. If you seen something different, I'll rewatch the scene, but I don't see him anything else. Look, Mara Chase agrees with you and everything else. So you know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, you gotta watch the way you put stuff out in text messages, man, because it may come across not the way you want it to come across. When you pay attention with exclamation points, then you're trying to be like a wise ass. You know what I mean? That's what trying to be a wise guy here. That's what it seems like. And you know what I mean? I got love for you and everything else. You've been here and everything else and all that. But this, you know, just be careful when you put stuff out in text messages. That's why it's better to call it. That way you do everything else. All right. But to me, I didn't see any change in his demeanor to that point. Mara says she does. So that's people who agree with you. I'm just not one of them, boss. And that. I think he was just trying to he knew his time was up. You know what I mean? Because I think he was going to go with Boyd. But he didn't have the time to do it once that music box ended. He was like, oh, these motherfuckers coming back. I'm dead for pulling you up here. Because maybe Boyd was next on the list. Maybe they were going to shackle Boyd's ass up in there, and Boyd would have been the next guy being hung up on that thing like that. And that's just the way it was going to be and stuff.
Do you think that the dogs gave Martin the worms? Yeah, dogs get worms. Here we go. Area code 317.
Hey, when I watched the scene with Martin, my first thought was like he was acting all docile and kind of just like pleading with Boyd and talking to Boyd, and then after the music stopped, he just kind of like freaked out. So I feel like that's more what he was warning Boyd about, was how he knew he wouldn't be himself when the music stopped. I don't think he was waiting for anybody to come, but that was just kind of how it seemed when I watched it.
Okay, so this is someone that similar thought that somehow when the box went off, he was transformed in some ways, not into Martin anymore, in more of a, because he did get a little bit more animalistic when he jumped on him and cut him and stuff. So I guess it's worth thinking about if Martin did that intentionally.
I don't, because I just don't. There's no scene in there. Wait a second.
Establish that.
One second. Well, we're gonna play my video. I did a short of it. I'm going to pull the short up. And it should be fine because it's on my channel. And let's take a look at it real quick.
And Lauren, I will agree with you. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes of Silo, but I can only have room for one mystery box show in my life right now, so I'll have to catch up on it later. But Silo is good, another good Apple Plus series.
Let's figure this. Let me pull this up real quick and let's play this and just see. Let's get to the bottom of this.
And while Tony's doing that, I'll look at a couple text messages while we're waiting. This is area code. What's this? My main theory is it being an alien abduction and being abducted many times, but having no memory of it throughout their life. Maybe in their sleep explains how their items got there. Jim said he had the necklace at the hospital and then misplaced it. I think he may have been abducted. However, I think another viable theory could be some sort of ritual gone wrong What do you think? I'm leaning less towards ritual theory. I mean, I think your theory, your alien abduction theory, isn't far off from Tony's perspective. And I also think a ritual gone wrong and expanded is an interesting perspective too. I think that's part of the fun of this show, as someone else said, being able to throw these ridiculous thoughts up there and try to figure it out.
All right, let's take a look at it right now.
What if it's all just a dream? How the fuck do you... Martin, what's going... what's going on, Martin? What? Okay. Martin, okay. Come here, quick, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, hey, Martin, come on. It's a...
Hey, Martin, it's your birthday.
We're out of time! Let go, Martin! My blood is your blood now.
All right, so let's go through what we just watched real quick. All right, so from what we see here and stuff is that as right before Boyd goes towards him, he starts to moan. Like, oh, there's some problem with him and stuff, right? That's what we see. And then after that happens, Boyd gets close to him. The music is still playing. Once Boyd gets close to him, then the music box stops. And then that's when he says, we're out of time. Specifically, those are the words that come out of his mouth. Now, earlier he has said that when the music box stops, they are coming back. So the music box stops. He says we're out of time. So he has to make one last ditch effort to do something. And it seems like that's exactly what he did. He ripped up his arm, he put his blood in him, and then he said, my blood is your blood. And then it seems like he is killed. Either those things were in him and kept him alive, and once they were transferred out of him, that killed him, or these things killed him that were there, one or the other. But I don't see him becoming one of those monsters and doing that, and that's the reason why he did it. That's not what I've seen from the scene. If you see something different, you know what I mean? I don't see it at all. Maybe I'm missing it or something like that, but I don't see it. Phil, do you see him being possessed? Your honest opinion.
I don't know. I mean, it does seem like I think his body language changes a little bit, but I can see
his body language changing because he's desperate right now.
Right.
They're coming back.
I think I can see it in both things. I think on this one, it seemed like when he's talking, does his cadence change? That would be the only thing. And it still sounds like it's him talking, but I think it can be viewed. I don't want to sit on the fence, but I really do think it can be viewed in either perspective. I see what you're saying. I see what some of the people in the chat are saying as well on this one. I'd have to think about it a bit more. Moon in the chat says, I think the music box did change his attitude in some way, but it could also be viewed as he felt panic in that moment and knew he was running out of time, so he had to change his perspective. I mean, I know
that's what the dude says. Let's listen to it again.
The fuck? What'd you say? What if it's all just a dream?
Yeah, what if Abby's right?
How the fuck do you... Martin, what's going... what's going on, Martin? What? Okay. Martin, okay. Come here, quick, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, hey, Martin, come on. It's a...
I mean, you could view that as the transformation is complete.
Let go, Martin. My blood is your blood now.
Voice is exactly the same.
Yeah, I think the biggest argument for it, Tony, would be that he goes from, someone said it in the chat too, that he goes from seeming frail and weak to suddenly strong, like he's filled with something. And again, I think it's the worms that gave him one last charge to be able to have the power, because this goes with what I think, that the worms are good, that he had one last charge of the worms gave him some sort of burst to be able to transfer them, and that transfer ended up killing him. Like he sacrificed himself.
Morris Chase says the voice is not exactly the same. I am saying it is the same. When he says we're out of time, no, he raises his voice because he's desperate at that time. So he's saying, "Oh my God, we're out of time. I got to do something right now." And he cuts him, and then he puts his arm on him. If he was turned into a psychopath and wanted to kill Boyd, it seemed like he could have easily cut his throat or tried to kill him. But I think he gave him his blood, and I think that most likely it seems like that whatever was inside of him, when it left his body, he died from it, or those fourth dimensional people killed him. One of the other thing happened and everything else. But I think the voice is the same. When you hear him say, my blood is your blood, that's the same thing he had. He only raises his voice one time when he says we're out of time. The other thing he says, I think, is exactly the same. So I don't know. Listen, I could be wrong on this one. Totally admit that I could be wrong on this one. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see exactly with everything else.
Yeah, he's not betting a chip on this one.
Like
He's not betting a chip on this one. You know?
No, I'm not betting a chip on. I could be wrong on this one. And Valerian, don't take it.
Let's get to a couple of these voice.
We good, man. We good. We good. Everything is good. You ain't been put in the box or nothing like that, right? Everything's good. I don't expect anyone to agree with anything I say ever. Period. And I don't want you to, because the more people agree with me, most likely you're not right. That's what I've learned from Game of Thrones. So.
Yeah. I love it. I love the shade. Area code 315.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Tony. This is Mandy calling from Syracuse, New York. But I'm on my husband's account, the King Charles one. I have two theories real quick. Okay, my theory about the boy in white is they attempted to make him a monster, but because he's a child or for whatever reason, it didn't work, which is why they want him killed now, and he's wreaking havoc in the quote-unquote, the game or whatever you want to call it, and trying to help people because he's stuck in there, and that's why they make games or children monsters. Okay, my other theory is a wild one, but what if the two people from the bus that were trying to get into the house and killed the girl with the nail in the head weren't monsters? What if they were really killers? And they're the two people who are unaccounted for. And at first I thought maybe no, because they couldn't put that screw in her head, but then Boyd just pulled it out like Superman. So I'm thinking maybe they're murderers, and it's a plot twist, and no one's going to notice for a while because they assume it's the monsters. Okay, anyways, you guys have a good night. Thank you.
I can't get down with. I think it's good. The boy in white thing. I think you're on to it. I think that he's escaped experiment. I don't think they were trying to turn him into a kid, to one of those monsters. I don't think that was the case. But I think they turning him into something else. So I do think he's escaped experiment. As for the two people of being killers, it's like I don't see that. It's just too many monsters out there, and I think the point was to show that these monsters are not zombies from like The Walking Dead that are just killing people all crazy like that, that they have some sense to them. And she said specifically that the guy said he dragged him out there and said, made him watch him kill, and then said, we're going to have some fun with you, and then pinned her up to the thing. Again, at the same time, after that all happened, then if it wasn't a game from the people that was there, then the alarm clock wouldn't have went off when Kenny and Ellis went out there. Purposely went off at that time to attract them to go see her like that. So I don't think that there would be some psycho, some Charles Manson people in there that would be able to affect it in that way. So that's why I'll have to say that the monsters actually did it.
Yeah, I'll take that one first, just to piggyback on what you said. I don't think these people in that situation is the case, but I would love to see that be a way of upping the game. So far we've had mostly, you could say, decent people. Even Randall seems to just have cowboyism, superhero vibe. It doesn't seem like a criminal or bad person. So the idea of maybe a prison bus coming here next or something with a bunch of murderers and psychos and some of the worst people in the world could be an interesting way of going in this world, or someone being a killer that's killing people and blaming it on the monsters. I think that's an interesting way this story could go. So I like where your mind's at on that. I don't think it's the case with these people, but I think put an asterisk in that. That put a pin in that might come up later because that could be an interesting storyline down the road. As for your first thing about the boy in white, I want to throw this back to Tony. We haven't got a lot of boy in white this season.
No.
When and if do you think when will we get the boy in white? And do you think we'll get any more reveals or big moments with the boy in white this season? Or maybe we have to wait every other season for a boy in white kind of situation?
Well, I will say that he does come this season, and we have
right.
He will be here this season. We don't know exactly when he will be here this season. And can we say that a little bit of that? Are we allowed to say that?
I mean, to talk about. I mean, there's a script.
We don't talk about it. I mean, we don't know much. All I know is that we know that there was a guy who came on stream, and he said that he was the coach, like school tutor for Vox.
Right, who was on set this
season. So the fact that he said that he was on set this season,
so we haven't seen him at all yet.
We do see him this season. That's all we know. He never said anything else about it like that. He just said that he was a tutor for him and that he was on set for him this season. So we know that he was on set this season. So, but we don't know exactly when he's going to show up or anything. But we know he's there.
Will he reveal himself to anyone else this year, Tony? Will anyone else see him besides Victor and Ethan? Will Elgin be able to see him possibly?
It would have to be Elgin would be the only one I could see him.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Elgin being able to see him as well.
It would only be Elgin from what I see. Sarah, Elgin, Victor, and Ethan.
Oh, wait, Sarah saw him. I forgot about Sarah. So Sarah, or she heard his voice, or did she say she saw him?
Well, she heard him. He pointed at the tree.
Okay, so she visually saw him then.
Yeah, because he pointed right at the tree. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can't really tell. I think she's seen him.
Yeah.
She definitely heard him because that's the first time we ever heard him speak. We heard his voice was when she was with Sarah.
Maybe
Sarah, they're right. This place is bad. Blah blah blah. Get in there, jump in the tree, and just save yourself.
No, that wasn't my point, Mika. Oh, come on. I know that. I've been on that bus before. I meant some some actual murderers. So, let me be specific. I meant a bus of murderers, a bus of bad people, bad dudes, bad people that have done bad things that would add an extra layer of drama to the situation when not all the people in town are good people, or maybe even one Ted Bundy-ish serial killer kind of guy in town that's using it as a mask. I know not everyone on those buses are bad. I've been on one of those buses, I repeat, and I'm not a bad guy. I've been on one of those damn buses though, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back, Tony. I'm not going back.
No, never.
Area code 850.
What's up, Phil? What's up, Tony? Yeah, I love y'all's chemistry, man. Keep it up. Yeah, this is Jerome. I'm calling from Tallahassee, and yeah, I believe that during that scene between Martin and Boyd. I think that Martin scratched him with the thing that was on his arm, the shackle. I believe that's what happened, not his fingernails. But that's just my theory. You can watch it back and see for yourself. Appreciate you, man.
Was it the shackle? Because he had the only one hand shackled, right? He had one arm that was
Boyd
free.
had got the other one off at that point.
Yeah, and then he holds Boyd back with the one arm, and then you hear the cut. So I would have to go back and play it again and stuff like that to see everything else. We know his name is Martin because he says his name is Martin. That's what he said.
Yeah, which could be a lie. And I know someone earlier said we don't know that Martin is dead. I am not looking past the idea that Martin might be a Ben Linus and he pops up in another situation and this was all some sort of scam. Martin could very well be the guy behind all of this. And Tony had made reference to this and we were talking about this. He could be the dude from Squid, like the old guy from Squid Game. Would have to go down that road. Phil spoils another thing. Area code 919.
Hey everyone, this is Justin, Just Genius Art from Raleigh, North Carolina. I just wanted to say thank you always for holding such an amazing space. I actually haven't checked this show out, but I've been seeing the lives and seeing the videos and been like, oh man, what is this? But just listen to you talk and listen to how everyone's getting into it. I think it's up my alley, so I'm going to start getting into it soon. And I just wanted to let you know, Tony and Phil, like you really got me into it. I appreciate you both. Tony, sorry for your loss. Rest in peace, rest in heaven. And I love y'all. Sending everyone love. I hope y'all have a good evening. Peace.
And
Thank you so much. Look, let me go through these real quick. I got some Cash App donations. I'm sorry I didn't see them. So let me see. My phone is on vibrate for some reason. Bishop sent, he said, best predictions on YouTube from. Thank you very much. Fernandez T, he says, for Fernandez T says, is it possible that the Marine unhooked himself? I mean, we see Boyd unhook him one time there. So I don't know if it's possible. I don't think he'd been there. And also, it says Mika wants to know how come the talisman can't be worn to protect you. And thank you so much for the super chat and for sending it the way that you just sent it and everything else. I truly appreciate it. I would just say that Donna says it specifically, it can't. So I think that's just the way it is.
They just cut it off. It's part of the rules. It has to be an inside. Victor, I'm sorry I did you dirty with a voicemail. We'll try again from the halfway point. I don't mean to do you dirty, buddy. It's we'll take it in piecemeal here. So here we go. Here's the second half of it, man. Not trying to cut you out.
Wait. You gotta play it. This wait. This Moon Sin is trying to put things in the chat that I did not say whatsoever. So I don't understand why it's got. Maybe I'm testy. Maybe I'm in the bed. I'm not in a good mood, but maybe I'm testy. But if I don't understand why things have to be mischaracterized. What I'm saying, it makes no sense. I did not. Where is this comment that was put up there? Now I cannot find. It said something like, "Oh, Tony said it's my channel, so that means that's the way it goes." I did not say that at all. Not even close to it. I specifically said I could be wrong. Did I not, Phil?
Yeah. No. I mean, like you're open to possibilities. You're confident.
I said I could be wrong on this one, right? And I put everyone else's theory there. So I did not say it's my channel and that's the way it goes.
No, Victor, it's all in good fun. I just felt bad because you made some good points, but just leave another one and I will
yeah, let's play Victor's point.
Victor said he's gonna try again. So
right. But yeah, I just don't mischaracterize what I'm saying because I say clearly what I'm saying, but don't try to put it in there like this is just whatever I say goes. That's not the case. I specifically said I don't know if that's the case, and I could be wrong. And then when Mara agreed, I said that Mara is someone who agrees, who disagrees with me, right, at this particular time. And I said specifically that that's the case. So don't be putting stuff out there in the chat like I'm wrong, and don't sit here saying, "Wow, like that's not what you put up in there." That's exactly what you put up in there. Like I said, this is my channel, and that's the way it goes. Don't be on no crazy stuff, man, for real. Again, I am testy right now. You know what I mean? It's not been a good week for me, but still, you're not going to. There's a couple of things that I just cannot allow to happen. Number one is you cannot shit on my name. Period. No matter what, and don't mischaracterize what I'm saying. Don't make up lies about me. Like I said, something when that's not the case, and everything else. And I've said 1,000 times over here that any theory I made up, I don't know if it's theory, and I respect any theory that anybody whether I agree with it or not, and everything else like that. Just that, just don't try to throw dirt on my name. I can't have that. I have a good name, and I can't allow you to ruin my name, my children's name, and my father's name before his father before him. That's all I'm saying. If I say it, then I'll own it. But if I didn't say it, don't say I said it, and that's it. All right, we cool. I hope everyone's cool. I want this to be a good time for everyone. I try to be. But that's just what I'm trying to say. I have no disrespect, but that's just the way it is and stuff like that. All right. He's going to try to call back, right?
Yeah, he said not to play the rest of that message. This is area code 773.
What's up, suspects? This is Jesse J2G, 773. Just really quick, the elixir that people keep talking about. First of all, it's not spelled the way it sounds. And two,
Jenga.
it's Native American or tribal, if you want to call it. The only connection that I ever had with elixir was way back in the late '80s. I think it was the Super Friends, and it was one of the characters on there was Native American, and he would say elixir, and he would grow real big, and he
You're
was
correct.
like Ant-Man or something, and he could grow real big. The only reason I know that is because of that old show, and it's on the side of like U-Haul trucks. They'll show you the elixir and describe where it's from and what it does. But I think it's really interesting. I think it's a whole Native American thing, and I think it is a revenge thing. And that has something to do with it. Your thoughts, people?
I'm 100%. I do. I remember that as a child of the guy saying the word and growing really big too. I do remember that, but I also they are Native American, and I also remember them it being some type of like overseas people, like Vikings would do some things like that, but not in that way with rocks and everything else, and that designed to mark food burials and things like that. So, I mean, it means something. I don't know exactly what it could mean, but I do have a theory about something about it and everything else. And I'll put it in there, in my next video when I put up there like about the moles and everything else. I will say that straight up that I'll tell you here that Kenny's mom has a good chance of being a mole. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think that when you look at everything with Kenny's mom, and she's gonna be on the show, and not next week, but the week after, she'll be on here. And I'll say it to her. You know what I mean? That she's in charge of the food. I told y'all before. She's always trying to push that tea on people. It could
Something
be a
takes you with
hallucinogenic
tea.
that she's putting tea in people, putting stuff in people's foods. That thing was found in her house that he's playing with. She had that in her house, right? Not in the not inside of the diner, that was in her house that Ethan had and was playing with it. So in the end, there is don't and it could be a Kaiser Sose situation that's going on there with her, acting like, oh, we're just the moms and everything else. Let's be cool, but she could be a mole. It's a possibility that she's on it. I'm not saying she is. I'm just putting it out there that she could be. And I'm going to put it out there in my video that I put out there, all the people who could be a mole. I'm going to give you reasons why they could be and what reasons why they can't be. So it could be a whole situation. She could be part of the government strategy that this whole thing is good.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it be.
And is everyone starting to crack? I think so, or it's gonna head in that direction relatively soon. Let's
The
listen.
mole has to be, when we deal with the mole real quick, the mole has to be someone you care about. It can't be an asshole. It has to be someone that you don't expect to be it. That's the way it's going. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? And that's the way it goes. It has to be someone that you would not want to be the mole. You know what I mean? If the mole was this dude from off the bus who just got there, no one would care about it. It'd be like, oh, he's the mole. He's an asshole anyway. Who cares? It has to be someone that you care about that you wouldn't expect to be the mole. That's the only way it works. And she fits that. She checks that box 100%.
And I agree with what Hackme said as well. They're definitely focusing on that girl that got with the glass in her eye that everyone's ignoring. She could definitely possibly be someone suspect as well if we're looking at people. Area code 251.
251 here. Quick couple things, guys. One thing I noticed was
Christy's girlfriend stated she was only 2 hours away. Another thing I noticed from rewatching season 1 is Father Cotter stated he only drove for 2 hours and then came across the tree. Help me out with that theory, guys. One more thing is to solidify y'all's theory about they don't eat the people. If you remember on the bus, Smiley walked up. Obviously, the old man was sitting first. The next morning, when they were discovered by the old people, the old man was not devoured. The old woman seemed to be devoured. But what's the trail of blood leading from the people to the front of the bus and to the back of the bus? Almost like he's carrying them with him, pieces of them with him. And another thing, if you go back and rewatch season 1, episode 7, after Ellis jumps off the roof from running from the Smiley Monster, the Smiley Monster is one of the monsters coming around the corner, actually chasing him and Fatima. Go back and check it out, guys. Thanks.
So the 2 hours away thing is there anything to the amount of time that it takes to get there, or is that just when they zero in on you, does it take that long for them to get you through the warp zone or something?
It could be a 2-hour warp zone that the case takes you right through it. You know, you drive for 2 hours and then you're inside there and everything.
I want to know when they flag you, so to speak, when they decide that you're coming to Fromville.
See, I think all of them have been there already. So I think it's just, you know,
But they had to get there that first time, right?
Yeah, that first time they had to get there has to be something to do with them, whether it's blood type, something about them has them there. I don't know exactly what it is, but they've picked these people specifically for some reason. It doesn't seem to be skill set. It seems to be something else. And I don't know if it's blood type or something, or they have a connection with someone. I have no idea, but it seems that there's something else is going on. As for there's no mole, someone said in the chat, the showrunner has confirmed that there is a mole. He said there's a mole. So we got to go with the showrunners on this one. They said that there's definitely a mole in there. So there's a mole inside the town.
Valerian, I'm with you. Eye Patch Girl is on my radar right now.
I don't know if she's a popular enough character to be that mole. That was the reason why I wouldn't say it was.
I mean, that's the secondary thing that they do sometimes is have it be someone you see around all the time that you wouldn't think. So I agree with you. If it's somebody big, it has to be one of our main characters. And I'm not sure it could go. I know who I don't think it is. I don't think it's any way it's Jade, and I don't think there's any way it's Donna. So it could be pretty much anybody
I can
else.
make a case for both of them being the mole.
I don't think either one of them are. But I'm sure you could, but my eye test tells me both of them aren't the mole.
It's one. It's somebody. It's somebody in there now.
Oh, you think it's one of those two?
It's somebody. I'm just saying that I'm going to in the video. I'm going to go through everybody, and I'm going to make a case why anyone can be the mole, and then I'm going to tell at the end exactly who I think the mole is.
And if you think this is stupid, don't put it in. If you do think put this thing in, or if you're going to have it in there anyway, I want to jump on what Rain Dance Lady just got there. I think the people that just got there are a lot of the prime suspects right now, because you could say that these people that are in town right now, the combination of Jade and Jim that created the radio and pushed it, they're pushing the limits a little bit fast. So whatever the other side needed to put a stopgap there. So bringing a bus full of people where you have a few moles on it is definitely a good possibility. It's a good way of getting the new people in and getting a lot of your people. You slip a few of your own people mixed in with the actual new people you brought in a large group. You're less obvious rather than one person showing up and more eyes are on you. So I could definitely see the mole being in that new group, and there just wasn't one in season 1.
No doubt. All right. So again, let's talk about, because we're about to wrap this up because it's been over 2 hours. So Sunday we'll have Julie on. Hannah is the actress's name. She'll be on Sunday, and the Escaping From podcast. I'll be back Saturday to do the prediction stream as always. Hopefully Phil can join me on that one and stuff.
It might be knee deep in Zelda, but if not, I'll catch up with you on Sunday.
We have Chrissy coming on. I think that I think that she said either week 6 or 7 of the show. She'll be on then, one of those weeks. And then we have Kenny's mom will be on in not next week, but the week after. We'll have her on there. So we have those people scheduled and already booked to come on, and we'll have more people coming on here. Again, it'll be a call-in live stream and stuff like that, so that you can call in. So, but most likely, I'm gonna be honest with you on this one. When Hannah comes on here, we're most likely gonna have a subscriber in the chat. You may have to subscribe to be a part of it. We're thinking about doing that a little bit anyway, so we may test that this week with her. So make sure you're a subscriber so you can be in the chat and ask a question and everything else and communicate in the chat while that all goes down.
Remember, Hannah isn't Julie, guys.
She's coming on the show, and that means she's one of us, and that's just the bottom line.
She's coming to the Thunderdome. She's excited, and
yes, she's happy that she's excited to come and everything else and all that. So it's going to be a good time with her and everything else, and we're going to have a great time and everything else. And she's going to break down the episode with us, which is going to be great, and to get the inside thoughts and everything else.
Wasabi channel, what's your area code? We'll end on your call, Wanda. What area code is the Wanda credible channel? Let me know, Wanda. How'd I miss it? What's the area code, Wanda? Quick, Tony wants to wrap up. We'll end on your voicemail here. If you get me soon, Tony 814. Okay, we're gonna end on the 814. Or did you left a text, not a voicemail? But I'll read your text. And the text goes, look how testy he is with the nurse's girlfriend. Also, who asks someone what's in their purse if they know what's in it? But how? Okay, exactly. There was a little bit of testiness in that situation, and she is suspect. It could also be for other reasons, like personal reasons. She's not, she has some health reasons, maybe some dementia, something going on that.
And she came to a hospital, right? She showed up there to that hospital, from what we know, for no reason. She wasn't hurt or anything, but she showed up there. So maybe you're right, Phil. Maybe she has some type of condition that she was going there from, and you don't just go in people's bathroom and search their medicine cabinets, right? You don't ask a woman what's in her purse. Those are things you just don't do. I mean, if you do search somebody's medicine cabinet, you may find something you don't want to find.
PW, I don't consider Sarah a mole in season 1. I consider her someone that was manipulated by the other side, and she wasn't behind the scenes consciously giving the other side hints and like working for the other team. I think she did. It was more akin to in The Naked Gun when Ricardo Montalban makes Jesse Jackson try to kill the queen. It's more something like that. I will kill the queen. Oh, it was more like that, not a mole. More someone was controlled. Their mind was turned. But I guess you could look at it in that perspective, that Sarah was essentially the mole of season 1. I see what you're saying there for sure.
Yeah. So it's just. When Noah comes, I'm not going to get into the mole right now because I don't want
Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson. Did I say Jesse Jackson? Reggie Jackson.
You said Jesse Jackson.
Did I say Jesse Jackson?
Goddamn Jesse!
I'm sorry, Reggie Jackson. Sorry.
I got me on Jesse. Poor Jesse.
Jesse didn't play baseball. I'm sorry.
Jesse, my time has come.
I'm blaming the alcohol. So that happens.
That's the way it goes with everything else. All right, people. Thank you again for everybody stopping by and coming here and everything else. It was a little contentious tonight in the chat, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, people are invested in this show, Tony.
You're invested. You feel passionate about your thing, and let me let you know that you can always be a subscriber or a member. Yes, either one. But Micah, but Mika, sorry. Jesus Christ, I'm blaming the alcohol on this one too. Listen, this is a place for you to put it's a safe space for you to put all your theories out, agree or disagree. Just know that you could put them out here and everyone will just give their opinion on it. No one knows. We didn't write this show, so no one knows who's right is wrong and everything else like that. Jesse's saying he sent a voicemail. Is there a voicemail that you see there?
What's your area code, Jesse? We do have a few more voicemails left, but I'm guessing he is it 9? What's your area code, my friend? And we'll see if we can play it here at the end, Jesse. Yep, Jesse. Maybe that's why I suggest I look at your name, Jesse. So Tony, even if you pronounce Mika wrong, I ask a lot. Let's see. Let's end on this one.
I think you're right. I agree with you and feel 100% about what happened in the gift with Martin. I just think that when the boss stopped, like Tony said, the fourth dimension of beings came in, and I think Martin was taken over, like Sarah was taken over on the church when Father Katri asked her to draw a picture for him, and you can see that she's grunting, she's in pain, she doesn't want to do it, but she's kind of forced to do it. And I think that's what happened to Martin, because I think he had all day if he wanted to infect Boy, but I think once the time was over, whatever happened to Sarah, the same thing happened to him, and his body was taken over, and they infected him because he was so emaciated and so weak before, and then all of a sudden he became a little more animalistic, and he was grunting, and he lunged at Boyd, and he held him there tight, and Boyd was telling him, "Let me go." So I think Tony, are 100% right, and I think people are getting a little confused. I think he just got taken over his body, like by the fourth dimension of being, just like Sarah did when she was drawing the picture of the astronaut for Father Kadri, and it was also painful for Sarah. Thank you,
Tony. Great call as always.
I gotta go with that 100%. I believe everything you just said.
Tony, before you wrap things up, I need to read the email we just got and make special mention to John in the live chat right now. Tony, we've referred to him as Duck Dynasty. Hey, Phil, I'm John. I tuned into the stream right now. I'm also one of the background actors working on the show. Specifically, I'm the guy with the rifle standing behind Donna and Boyd in the bus argument scene. I just wanted to chime in and say thanks so much to all of you for watching and enjoying the show. It's such a fun show to be a part of, and it's been great seeing it develop this awesome cult following. Long live the Frumley, 6 seasons in a movie, damn it. Your existential terror, John Muller, aka hairy background rifle guy that we've referred to at times. Duck Dynasty. And he's in the live chat right now.
Yo, tell Duck Dynasty, thank you for rocking with us. You know, you have a spot to come on the show whenever you want and talk a little bit about what you can talk about and everything else and how it was being with the cast. Just hit us up, you know, either hit me or hit Phil up. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming out here and rocking with us and stuff like that, you know. I would truly appreciate that 100%. Dynasty, the bodyguard. It's the bodyguard. Holding down the rifle and everything. Well, we got a bunch of people in here watching and all that. And I am happy that the passion on everybody's Schrodinger's rifle is correct. Something's got to happen with that rifle. Someone, you guys shoot a bottle or something that blows up and they say everything else like that and all that good stuff like that. You know,
everyone showed him love. Cheers, love the show. Love you, man. Thank you so much for telling me to check my email, reminding me to check my email. Thank you. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get to the message.
No, and again, before I get up out of here, let me just say, you know, rest in peace to my boy Chewy, who unfortunately, you know, took things into his own hands when they didn't have to take things into their own hands. And again, if you're suffering through depression and problems and stuff like that, go and talk to somebody before you make a decision that you can't come back from and everything else. And you know, life it may seem like it's not worth it, but you know, it always is worth it. So rest in peace, Chewy. If you ever wanted to hear some of his music, I'm going to put the link to his music inside this video inside there. You know what I mean? So if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this for this across the realm and subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.